Hello everyone. So in our today's video, we're gonna build up the client setup of our application. As we started for the Babymart, we build up our admin portion, which having the proper admin structure, as well as we are also building our server. So today we're gonna focus to build our client setup. Just feel free to clone the repository if you doesn't have that two parts, which is the client and server. We did all the things and all the code is pushed to that repo, so you can directly clone it and use it as you want. So the link, it will be in the description, as well as all other link, it will be available right there. So first we're gonna run our server and then we're gonna start build, because right now we no need to focus on the admin. We're gonna go and come back later on, as now our work gonna be consisting with the server and then especially for our client interactivity. So you're gonna go cd into server and then we're gonna put npm run dev to start our local host spinning. As you can see, it's running in localhost, so API server is running. I think we can just simply go in our localhost 8000 and we will be able to see that our application server is running. And for sure, if we go in our API /products, we should be able to see and visualize all the 3 products we have been uploaded. Later on, I'm going to change my server setup so that we can get through all the product details, right? So this is the one. Then if we just go and take another terminal, let's go to the cd into admin and npm run dev. I'm going to just have you an understanding what kind of things will happen to be in our admin. So this is the admin setup, which having the full course admin viewpoint, and of course having through the dashboard. And if we go directly in our products, we should be able to see the products. Now the one thing you need to understand, every single images we use here all are already provided in the repository, and that repository is just right here. I'm going to just go and pull that for you. So this is the repository which is recommended to use for to get all the things, all the property value which is gonna come back. This is the one which is the Babymart Vite. So here all the update portion is there. This is the main for the core setup. Then we are having for the branch for the server setup, where all the server code is right there. And along with the server setup, if we go directly in our admin setup, the code is already underlying right here. And today what we're going to do is that to create our client app. And of course after that we're going to also happen to be have our mobile application building using React Native. I know it's getting a little bit delayed, but we're going to finish that ASAP. Now you can upload your product right here. So I'm not going to go and hate on the particular instances, because I'm going to grab my product by so far. So as you can also see, we have the banner by so far and others. So I'm going to just close that one, because this is a very handy if you know what is actually happened to be in the admin. So I'm going to just go portion back there and let's go into cd into client app. It should be client, not app. And here I'm gonna make that npm run dev, which gonna running a application right here, which gonna just coming and localhost 3000, because this is the application is the main portion of our application, and we build it using the Next.js, because our admin relying on the Vite.js, but our client is happen to be in right here. So as you can see right now, this is a very super cool and working perfectly fine, and underlying the things is very clear. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go in the server, and here in the .env, I'm gonna change my server, like change my database, where I'm having all of my products data, all of my categories data. So you can upload and then start from that on. I have been changed my data set, like the database for the MongoDB. Now if we go directly here, as you can see, I have total 19 products. So in that way, I'm just modifying them. So this is the one which you get a clear cut of the Babymart e-commerce platform. We have the client-side website. So this is the feature and other setup which you're talking about right here, especially if you go in our client. I'm going to just close all of that in the source, and here in the app, if we go in the page.tsx, this is the one actually containing everything. So I'm going to just close all of the parameter right here. I'm going to just take a div here. So let's just get a self-closing div. So make it here as a client application, hit save, and that gonna be changed right there. So now this is the setup for our at the new beginning where we're gonna start building our application. So first of all, we're gonna happen to be clear cut some of the phenomena. First of all, it's gonna be coming to our, let's say, it's gonna what kind of things it's gonna be evaporating. As you can see, we have the top bar here, we have the header and other property. So this is gonna be a kind of very cool setup. So first of all, especially if we go directly on our layout segment, we're gonna have a little bit of very good concation. So especially in the page, we're gonna go one by one to let you understand how we're gonna go and bring the scenario. First of all, we're gonna have to be like that, let's say a category section, it will be there, which gonna be coming at the bottom layer, and then also you're gonna happen to be our banner. Then we're gonna have our product list setup, and after that it's gonna be coming also, let's say it's gonna be making to that baby travel section, and also this kind of section you can add as much as you want it to be. Also it's gonna be, let's say, gonna coming with that comfy, so should be comfy apparel section, a double P A, I think so, apparel section. Just apart from me, if I happen to be some kind of type of mistake, please forgive me for that. And then I'm gonna also make that, let's say, feature services section, SER VI. Okay, I'm gonna write it again, services section. So these all are the sections gonna be coming in our home layer. And if we go in our layout section here, so in the layout we're gonna also like gonna be making everything a very cool segment here. So as you can see, below the body, like before the body, it's gonna happen to be coming our, let's say, it's gonna happen to be our header here. It's gonna be coming because every single application layer, the header and footer gonna be underlying there, and also gonna be coming a footer. So right now, before starting, so there is one thing you need to be clear, like happen to be a clear concept in mind. This over here, every single setup is done just for let's kick start, right? We enable the Shadchan UI, we enable the Tailwind CSS, but something need to be clear up. What is that? Is that in the components in the UI, you see you have the button, right? But we need to initialize all of the components library, all of the UI which we're gonna use from the Shadchan UI. So you can just grab it all together in a very single instances. Just take a new terminal, I'm going to make it bigger, and then make sure you are cd into client, so you are within, like inside the client side directory. You need to be make sure about that one, otherwise you may have the fallback. Okay, what is okay, this error, ignore this error. This is not error, it's a side effect for the import or whatever, blah blah blah. It's not a problem. Or you can also remove that error by, so far it's just going to be creating, declaring your the module for the CSS, and it will just gone by. I'm just using an extension for the TypeScript, and that error is just coming from there, so no need to worry about it. That would be fine to keep it like that. Also, as you can see, we have all the setup, so you should not cry for it, but ignore it if you happen to be. Now what we need to do, we need to grab almost all of the things to require for the setup, like for the Shadchan UI, whatever the UI we are using and whatever the configuration which we are going to set up. So first of all, let's say it's gonna be npx Shadchan at latest, and then we're gonna go, I'm gonna try with an alert dialog. If we just see if the dialog is just coming up, then I'm gonna just provide this entire segment to go and work with it. As you can see, it's checking the registry and installing the dependencies, which gonna be the Redis UI from the React alert dialog. So we need to be confirming all of that. So as you can see, all the setup is configured. So okay, there is slot, and because I think that should be coming as manual, I'm going to keep it later. I'm going to try another one, npx Shadchan at latest. Let's try with that. It should be alert. Okay, so let's see if alert is coming. I just want to check if one is coming, then I'm going to run a command by which we can just install all of this. As you can see, we're having our alert, so means it's working. So okay, perfectly fine. And also you can check from that Shadchan .com. Here you can see all of the components right here, how it gonna coming up. And okay, this is the alert dialog which we miscalculate on that. You see, that is how you can say alert dialog. So I'm gonna just copy this one. So right now if we just go right here, and this time if we try, that should getting the alert dialog. Maybe I happen to be made some mistake right here. So you can come over here, cross check all of that components. If you require, you can take. If you doesn't require at all, you can just remove it. It's up to you, but I'm gonna use it, so it's gonna good if you're gonna use that too. An alert is using the button. I'm not gonna update that. I'm gonna keep it as simple as it is. Now I'm gonna write a command which gonna be, instead of this one, I'm gonna just write that all name. I want that avatar. I want now space, and just write whatever things you want. So I'm gonna write everything and then gonna hit enter. For after the badge, I also need to have the breadcrumb, bread, and make sure no typo mistake. And then I'm gonna have a calendar, and also the card checkbox. I'm just doing it as the first scenario, so that I no need to worry about that. I know the all need to be working together, should be happen to be dialog, and from input level, and then pop over. After that, also I need to have that radio group, and after that also the select separator, sheet, sidebar, and some more is there. It's a lot of things there. So sidebar, and then it's gonna be coming skeleton, and the sooner you're gonna make it later, not now, because that could be coming for the like toast messages. Switch, and after that let's say table, tabs, and also need that text area, and then should be coming the toggle, tool, tip. Hit enter. So now this much components I need to grab from the section UI, which gonna be providing me the topmost boost by which you're gonna create a clean slate of design. I'm gonna close everything. So right now we're gonna start building the possibilities, how we're gonna ensure that our application gonna stand out. So first of all, we're gonna start building the setup for our header, right? So as you can see in the components, we have the UI. That UI gonna hold, that UI directory gonna hold all of that components gonna come in from the section UI. Rest of that we're gonna just keep in the component. So I'm going to create another directory. I'm going to name as a header, because there is a lot of things going to coming from the header. So whatever the things we are importing in header, we're going to keep within that header directory. So I'm going to create a component here. Okay, in that header, take a new comp file, should be header.tsx rafce, which gonna generate a new file formation. So hit enter, that's gonna build up our header. So now we are having header. I don't want to get the button, so get it done like that. So now we are having almost everything properly aligned, and we are good to go. So first of all, I'm gonna go in my layout. Instead of that procedure right here, I need to happen to be provide that header, right? So if we go directly over here, as you can see, I need to provide that. Just make a reload, because as you can see, we're having that tailwind post CSS. This post CSS is coming directly and definitely from the components which we use. So I'm gonna go open my terminal and npm I'm gonna install all of that, so that it's gonna have that post CSS configuration, and it will not freak out and provide a very good scenario to how we can start building our all the setup. And also one more things I need to go and initialize over there as for the coming to be as the container, because the container gonna hold almost every single scenario, and as the container gonna be passing by, I can simply make that one in the components. Here I'm gonna take another directory which gonna be a common directory. We're gonna keep all the common file right here. So over here should be container.tsx. So this is gonna be holding every single container property. So rafce, and then okay, I think it's getting a bit of destructive right here. Okay, enter. So that would be the container for us. And after installing that post CSS, we make sure if you're still persisting the error, because maybe in our whenever we are building the segment for our like the initial routing setup for our application, in the post CSS may not be happen to be that tailwind CSS post CSS configure, because that line it should not be there. So make sure your post css.config.mjs file should be containing like that setup. If not, you're gonna have that error what we are facing beforehand. So we make sure you are happen to be have that current setup as well. So now we're gonna just set up back to clear cut our config file, like our container file, which gonna happen to be providing the data structure and then gonna provide a proper ratio statement. And what we're gonna do here, we instead of providing an all of the chunk, we're gonna having a two more property as coming to be the props. And so we're gonna define that interface, because as we are using the TypeScript, so should be interface, and I'm going to provide a name as props. And every single time whenever you're going to declaring or you're gonna just checking back the container anywhere, it should be happen to be the children by default, which is going to be react node as the type element. And also it can be providing that class name, either it can be there or it cannot be there. If it's there, it should be as a string. So now it's gonna be happen to be the children and happen to be the class name. And what we're gonna do in the middle layer, it's gonna just reviving the children by itself. And of course, we're gonna provide some of the custom class name here. And first of all, we're gonna use that cn value, which gonna coming from our live. As you can see in the live here, we are having one equals function, which actually removing the conflict about that tailwind configuration setup. For like whenever we are declaring the tailwind configuration, it can either gonna be a miscalculation whenever we are providing any kind of structurable data layer. So in that way, if you're using the CN, it's gonna remove that config and it's gonna provide the classy CSS properties. So I'm gonna provide that max width should be screen 2 Excel. And as you can see, my configuration, like the setup for that like tailwind css intelligence is not working. Even I have that extension which is gonna be name of that tailwind css intelligence, and this is not your fault. Even you have that, it may not work. It's because of the tailwind css version 4. So now I'm gonna there is an update scenario how you can set up that, but I don't want to show it right now to you because I want to go the manual setup as much. Maybe you all people are most of the people have the same statement the way I'm facing right now. So now what I want you to configure, you see in my root I have the client, and in the client I have the source, and in the source I have my app, and within the app I have my globals.css. I want you to memorize where our application is lying, where our CSS file is underlying. So this is the CSS file which we are happen to be right there. So what I want to do is that I'm going to open the settings. I'm going to just open settings tab, and I'm going to type the tailwind css. Now in the tailwind css, as you can see, not the first one, the second one, which is going to be that config files. Let's add it in JSON. So now as you can see, we are having like styles globals.css. so this is not be there. It should be client, and then in the client we have the source, then we have the app. So it's going to be underlined the tailwind's experimental config file, which going to be coming as the client, source, app, and then globals.css. So I'm going to go in my let's say in the container, and I'm going to just provide a padding of 4. As you can see right now, I can see it's working. So I can just provide the padding x, the vertical like horizontal padding is x4, and now I can see it's working perfectly. So that's way that's the same scenario. You can configure and set up the config file and provide the class name. So now we're good to go. So this is the container which you're gonna providing that max width as a screen, and also the mx auto, so keep in the middle, and also providing the padding x as 4. So I'm gonna close all of the things. I'm gonna go back in my header. So now the header gonna be need to be amazing, because header gonna contain a lot of properties, a lot of scenario. But first of all, let us see if we have like in the app in the source, we should be happen to be just grab all the assets here. So I'm gonna just grab it for you. So that should be in our source, that should be the assets, and that would be there. So in the asset we have the logo, we have the payment, we have the small logo also for the footer SVG and others. So either way you can grab it, or we're gonna just try to fetch topmost from our server side configuration. So first of all, as you can see, especially here, the header is fully, the entire header is fully in server side. But the problem is there, whenever you're going to click on that, that should be the client side because the client interactivity is there. If I put in euro, as you can see, that's changing everywhere. So whenever you're going to happen to be providing a click and happen to be the interactivity there, that must be as a client side interactivity. So we're going to load the server, especially in our servers header, especially in our server side. Then we're going to create the separate use client flag component wherever we're going to using the client side interactivity. And trust me, even I don't want to make a lot of things. It's gonna be also working as a microservices, but I'm not using the mono repo for using like the turbo repo or others. Later on we can focus, but what I want to finish this entire segment, later on we can update the entire build within that mono repo, and then we can go with the tiny bit of microservices, how it's going to work and handle all of the tiny actions in very accurate. So we're going to do that later on. So first of all, in the header, we're going to go and contradict the same way, the way which I told you. So now, as you can see here, we have the header, right? But the header is going to happen to be a two segments. So I'm going to take everything as a header. Now header, especially in the header, we're going to also happen to be, let's say the top part of the header should be top header.tsx or fce. That's going to be the top header. So I'm going to just bring that top header right here. Top header, okay, header. So now, as you can see, we have the top header data here, and also in the header, going to provide some of the class name. I'm going to provide a border of B, and that should be, header should be the ST key, and top should be 0, and Z should be a 50, and also I'm going to make that BJ should be baby shop white background. So that's going to be entertaining in that way. As you can see, okay, that should not be the light setup. As you can see, it's going to be baby shop light. No, it should be that baby shop white. So we're going to happen to be the border, and sometimes maybe I will take that CSS directly and inject right here because it's just a CSS. So you can just type it and you are good to go on that. So first of all, we're going to make that in the top banner. We should be happen to be a div, then we will have to be a container. So as you can see, the container, hello. So okay, hello. So now if you see the container getting a max width, you can see that. So that's the container you're gonna do, especially for that instances. So right now we also need to configure some of the setup so that it can really work on that. So especially in that segment, we have the help center, wish list, order tracking, and then we also have the secure payment and that. So we have the three part all together, especially on that ratio. So we need to create that three segment all together. So first of all, I'm gonna just go and bring those some of the class name property by which it can be looks amazing. So that's gonna be, I'm gonna provide that entire for that the top banner, as you can see, is getting the full weight, also getting that baby shop purple. And if you don't know from where those class names, where the those styles is coming from, this is coming, the all the colors is already pre-configured right here in line. As you can see, if you want to add your own colors, you can just replace it. Like if you want to change the purple colors, if you don't want to do with that, you can just do whatever you want. As I want to make it a black, hit black, and you see the entire structure gonna take as a black segment. So this is how you can go and work as a dynamic way, and that's gonna give you a lot of freedom to do something more and better. Now in the container, we should be happen to three separate segment. One should be coming for, let's say it's gonna be top help center. Okay, should be top help center, and another should be coming for, let's say, or you can just put a p tag here, which gonna provide that 100%, and that gonna make say a secure delivery without contracting the courier. So that's the second statement which is coming right here. And here I'm gonna just provide that first statement should be top center. Okay, should be coming like that. So this the two value is coming side by side. And after that, we're gonna also happen to be another segment where it's gonna be, let's say it's gonna be just for the currency right here. So this is the 3 segment right here. Now in the container, we're gonna provide a class name, we're gonna provide a grid, and by default grid column should be 1 and MD grid calls should be 3. So this is the way it's gonna provide our responsiveness. As you can see right now, we are doing the things, our pertaining things all together, but this one is not so nice because the last one we need to provide that little bit difficult way. By default it's gonna be hidden, MD should be in line of flex, and also item should be centered, but I'm gonna make the justify should be end. I think I will make a little bit bigger. Yeah, so if we save, as you can see, now it's getting the actual proportion, right? So first of all, it's gonna be providing us some of the data, that data structure by which we can make it much more better, right? Of course, we will do that for sure. And before go further, I want to make sure also to have to another scenario. Like we should have some static data, right? So we need to go and keep that static data wherever we are looking forward to. So what I'm gonna do in the source directory right here, I'm gonna create another directory here, which gonna be a constant directory, so constants, and here we're gonna create another file which gonna have the data.ts. So this data.ts is gonna like happen to be all the data, right? So the data gonna be happen that a top help center, we're gonna happen to be that top help center help wish list, gonna passing that to wish list, order tracking, gonna get that user order. So that's how it's gonna work. And we're just tracking the footer for 3 also. As you can see in the footer at the top right here, we're using some of the images, so those images gonna be coming right here. And if you are seeing some ads, please don't get annoyed. It's just to get some video to work on that, you know. I need to use that paid version for hosting and others because so many people are working on that and you need to view that. So I need to keep the server running, and also I need to keep myself running. That's why I'm just running at or some. If it's annoying you more, let me know in the comments. Maybe I will remove that for sure. And again, if you're still watching that one, please to like the video and subscribe the channel, because around 85% of you people are not subscribing. If you subscribe, it's gonna hit a lot on me, and I'm gonna do a lot of other things by to make sure that you are learning a lot from this channel. So right now, okay, we are happen to be that all of the segments. So right now we're gonna go in our top segment here. So a special segment where we're gonna define all of the properties. So in that div here, we're gonna just simply get our top help center dot, we're gonna just map with that, we're gonna just passing everything as an ID, and we're gonna just simply pass that as the link parameter. And on that link we're gonna just pass that, let's say it should be passing that item dot title, and the key should be item dot title. You can also pass the key as the index if you are looking forward to. href should be taking the href item dot href, and also for, I think that's gonna be happen to be giving or providing 3 segment here, should be coming in 3 data, which is the help center, wish list, order taking, and other property. Okay, it's just loading. I think my system getting a little bit slower. Okay, it's happened to be there. Okay, so now this is gonna be an status purposes on there. So let's go make that one class name. Should be class name, and we're gonna make it a flex, and then item should be center, and gap should be 5. So this is going to be providing a gap segment, and also in that href for the link itself, we're going to provide a class name. Whenever you're going to hover, text should be, let's say, baby shop white right now. So baby shop not light, directly white. So right now it's providing some of that a glitch on there, and we're going to also provide that hover effect. Okay, so yeah, as you can see, and the hover effect gonna contain, if you just go directly in your globals.css, you can see the hover effect gonna contain a simple configuration here, so making that as a easy in out duration 300 milliseconds. So that's the one is providing a little bit a good effect over there. So right now if we click on that help center, of course you're gonna get a 404 help page because we doesn't have any pages right there, but we're gonna bring that out all of the things. So this is the one segment here, and for the another one which you're gonna be providing that for the p-tech. we're just gonna make that okay, it's coming to application, because in the meantime on that like in the small screen it should be only should be the help center gonna be applicable, others gonna be hidden. So the same thing gonna happen there, same thing gonna be happen here. Okay, so now we need to also work for the currency and other. So first of all, we're going to create two separate components here. One, it should be select currency.tsx or fce. That should be the select currency, which going to work on that. And another are going to be, let's say, top social. It should be providing the links.tsx. So that two components going to provide the two certain kind of scenario. So in the top header here, so on that proportion, we're going to grab the two, should be select currency. So select currency, and another should be top header. Okay, should be top social links. Okay, so these these two together, so one gonna be injecting all the social links here, another gonna be providing that segment. So we're gonna bring that. First of all, I'm gonna go with that top select currency here. So in the select currency, that's gonna entertain a lot of, because we're gonna use the store here to store the properties right here, so that in that way we can happen to be the currency, whatever currency is gonna select it or not. So I'm gonna bring the state later on whenever we're gonna happen to be get the state property. So right now I'm gonna go and provide some of the data layer. It should be select SCLE. Select should be coming from that UI select. We make sure you are not taking from Redis, or you are not taking from the depicker. You should be taking from the UI select, otherwise you're going to providing the error. And here we're gonna go and do a lot of other things. First of all, it's gonna happen that to be that select trigger, so that it's gonna be triggering how the way it want to trigger on that. So in the select value here, so over on the select value, we're going to provide a certain kind of select value here. Let's say the placeholder should be, I'm going to provide the placeholder of it's going to be as, let's say, USD. So by default, it's gonna initiate that use as for the USD value. You can see the USD value right here, but there should be an parameter by which like say I'm gonna just bring that and gonna comment that, so that you can understand what actually we are gonna looking forward to. As you can see, we're gonna have that select currency, we have the currencies, and we also gonna have that set currency. And why we need that? Because every time we're gonna click on that, as you can see, we're gonna view all of the currency setup, right? So this is how we're gonna build the entire structure to go and overflow. But right now, as we are happen to be starting the point, I'm not gonna just pouring that lot of things right here, but we're gonna go slowly there, right? Now we can also bring the dummy currency. Okay, so that that should be, let's say, const currencies. So now you can understand what actually will happen to be there. So this is the dummy currency. Later on, we're gonna bring that setup. So this should not be coming from here. That should be coming directly from our like state mutation. Whenever we're gonna mutate our state, that time it's gonna be contradicting for or by so far in especially in that segment. So okay, what's wrong here? So currencies not like that should be equal. Okay, and as you can see, we need to default with the comma and lot of blah blah blah. So I'm gonna just apart from that. So this is the segment gonna be how the currency gonna be look like. Also, you're gonna just start like setting our store. I'm gonna bring back and that you're gonna let's see how it gonna understand it all gonna segment. So I'm gonna just provide that setup right now. So in the select trigger here, so that's the trigger which gonna combine over here. So this is just gonna be passing a border of none, BJ transparent, focus ring should be 0, focus outline none, shadow none, flex item center, justify between px2, py1, and blah blah blah, lots of other things. Now after that select trigger, so as we are triggering the select, we should be happen to be that select contained. So select contained, and in the select contained we should be happen to be, let's say, select group, right? So on that select group, it's gonna hidden on that as a select item. So now here we need to map through the property, but as we are just putting that, let's say I'm gonna just provide a dummy. Okay, just keeping that as a dummy property. As you can see, is just getting a dummy, but instead of dummy, I'm going to just provide that USD so that you can have that value of the USD so that it can go and for the other property, and also it gonna be happen to be that select label, and on that label it gonna make that currencies. And for the item, it's gonna be providing the key and other. I'm gonna just keep that right now this much. Okay, so now you just understand we happen to be give back or providing back all of the currencies and other pattern. I'm gonna keep it like that, and now we're gonna focus on to bring back our social links parameter. So as you can see in the links, it's gonna be providing just the data layer. Now for the link itself, it's going to be coming as an array. I'm going to just bring back the icon from the Lucid React, which is going to be a four sort of icon. Going to be a Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. I think so. Okay. Okay, so now this is the four icon which gonna coming back directly there, and after that we're gonna simply make that, let's say, social links dot map, and everything gonna be passing as an item, and from there providing the same as the, not like that, should be okay, same as the link gonna be coming from the next link, and then it's gonna be passing that item dot icon, and let's provide the key should be item dot title, as the both title is the difference different there, and href should be item dot href, and also for the class name Uber should be, let's say the text should be baby shop white, and we're gonna provide that Uber effect just to happen to be provide some kind of calculation there. Now for the div itself, for the class name should be a flex, item should be a center, and provide a gap of 3. That's it. So now we are happen to be as the top layer of that. Okay, so I think this is okay, this is cool, but this is not so cool, especially for that HP tag here. I think something is wrong. Let's say put BG of rate. I want to see why it's not in the middle. Okay, so we can simply make that inline flex and item center, justify center, you know, to just keep everything in the center. Okay, I think in our live, see, the same issue is there, but we fixed whenever we are building, you know, that's how we do things. Whenever we are facing a problem, we resolve it at the same time, and that's how we keep learning on that. So now we have the top header, right? Of course, there is some part which we need to come back later on after finishing all the segment, but now we have that top header. So after the top header, we need to now initialize the other proportion of the header, which is going to be combining our header ratio. So let's go directly here. We're going to take another container here. So container, and in the container, we are going to happen another div. And of course, there should be coming as a sidebar. So I'm going to just provide a, let's should be the sidebar, which going to be come back later on. But right now we need to provide the logo. Okay, so I'm going to go and create another common directory, common product here. So logo.tsx rafce. So that would be our logo, where we're going to show our logo, and the sidebar gonna bring back our responsiveness, especially if we go over here. As you can see, especially on that sidebar, if we go a little bit, you can see the sidebar bringing all of the things together. So that's the sidebar gonna work and make things to be sure that everything working perfectly. And I'm gonna just go with the max width ratio so that we're gonna see what's actually we're building. So now for that logo here, it's gonna be a little bit a pretty simple structure. Okay, so how it's gonna be a simple structure? Instead of div, it's gonna be a link here. So every time we're gonna click on that link, like click on that logo here, it's gonna bring back to directly on our home. So okay, that's a mismatch, should be link. Okay, so here I'm gonna simply grab my image from next image, and here we're gonna provide the source should be coming as the logo. We need to bring back from our assets, so the logo is there, and also the alternative tag we're gonna provide a name as the logo, and for the class name, and of course whenever we're gonna provide the logo, either it can take a class name as the prop, so should be a class name. Either it can take, or it can also work without happen to be the class name. So let's say it's gonna be class name. If it's there, okay. If it's not there, it's also be okay. So if there, it should be a string. So the class name gonna provide a cn, and here it's gonna provide a width should be 32 and lg width should be 44. So that's gonna be width ratio, and whenever the class name is there, it's gonna picture the class name. So now it should be able to get our data here. As you can see, our logo is right there. Now if we go directly in our help center, I think if we click, it's gonna automatically redirect back to our home structure. Okay, cool. So right now, as we are happen to be get our logo, now we need to make these things a little bit better aligned. Right now you can see everything gonna stick all together, like not shuffling, not happen a bit of room to breathe. So we need to provide that data ratio. Let's go in the container here. We need to make something better aligned over here. Put a class name, everything gonna be flex, item should be center, justify should be between, because you're gonna have a 3 segment right there, and you're gonna provide a gap of 10, and also the padding y should be 4, like the horizontal padding should be 4, should be 16 pixel by itself. Now you can see there's a very good breadth of room to be get aligned by. So now this is the one segment. So this is the div here, which is gonna be contradicting like all of the segments. So in that div, because there is like if we see an alignment, okay, there is some sort of structure which you need to follow. I'm gonna just break by I'm gonna break it to you. I would love to go with the responsive way. So this is the div gonna containing the sidebar and others. So it's gonna be class name flex should be flex 1 to grab all the available space, item center, and also the justify between it will take, and md should be justify start. So it's gonna go on that ratio. What is the start? Okay, justify center, justify start. Okay, justify start. Okay, and after that md gap should be 12, so gonna providing a ease of gap. So after the logo, it also gonna be taking a dip where it gonna taking for, let's say it gonna grab a 3 setup, like 3 portion of the things. It will not take right now, but we're gonna bring back. So it's gonna be for the order icon, wish list icon, card icon, and of course it not be there like empty screen. It should be hidden. Okay, so it will only available flex item center and also gap of 3, but it will be hidden in the empty screen, like the LG empty screen. So it's gonna be similar on that. You can see. So if I logged in, there should be the other icon here. So this is how it's gonna be compatible with that, but we're gonna ignore it right now because it's gonna only hit after the empty screen. So now we also need to be getting another portion here, one of the important one, which is gonna be, let's say it should be search input.tsx. So this is gonna containing our search injectory, like how the search gonna work. So let's say it should be search input. Okay, so the search input button, as you can see, so that's the button. It would be there to bringing all the search input volume, and after that we should be happen to be another div here, and here we're gonna happen to be, let's say it should be the orders icon, the similar setup, and after that it's gonna also happen to be, let's say, wish list icon, and also it's gonna have user button, and also let's say user button card icon. So this is the segment it's gonna be coming. You can see it's just taking a line in proper way. So first of all, to go with that, by default it will be hidden, and md should be inline flex, and also gonna be item should be center, and gap should be let's say 5. Okay, so now instead of providing that, like we can know what actually gonna happen to be there. So we can just simply bring back together, and from there user button should be removed. So now if we just come back, if we go smaller screen, you can see how things gonna look like. Of course, search button gonna be hidden, but we're gonna bring back together. So now first we're gonna work with the search input property. Okay, this is one of the most important segment, especially in our build setup. Like whenever we're gonna click, you can see how those gonna changes, and if even we search, how searching going on, and it's fetching all of the latest data. But first we're gonna make the design, then we're gonna go and see how the things can be run and how the things can go on that. So first of all, we're going to make that a class name. I'm going to make it as a relative, and also LG, which should be full. Okay, so that it can work in that way. Okay, we should be happen to be get the from and others. For right now, we will not go in that adjustable manner, but okay, so yeah, we're gonna go with a from property. So a from, and the action should be none right now, so we're not gonna keep any action in the from. We're gonna happen to be an input here. So in that input, we're gonna happen to be the placeholder gonna be search of products. So PRODUC. Okay, search products. So now you can see that one is right now here. So on the search products button, like that input property, we also gonna be happen to be providing some of the class name. So I'm gonna just bring it right here. So in the class name, it's gonna be flex1 rounded md padding wi-fi focus and other properties. So this is whenever you're gonna click, you see how it's gonna focusing on that. So that's what we are bringing back. You can see when you focus, we are gonna be a visible border baby shop rate. So this is what actually is going to do in that perspective. And also we need to bring a certain kind of notation here. I'm gonna bring all of those states right now. So as you can see, it's gonna using the use state property. Also it gonna right now I'm gonna just make it like that. Okay, so we're gonna just do it whatever we are requiring. And also yeah, so we're gonna only just use that set search and search value. Even whenever you're going to use state, right now you can see the header is still not in use client flag, it's still in the server side. So what I'm going to do, as the interactivity going to happen in that search input, I'm going to only make that component as a use client flag, and my error gonna be disappear. Okay, so now we are happen to be there, and also we're gonna just make things in a very nice and clean property. So the value should be, let's say it gonna be passing as the search value. And also whenever we're gonna on change, like we're gonna writing something on that, we're gonna take everything as an event property, and we're gonna make that set search property e.target.value. So whatever we are typing, value. So whatever we're gonna typing, we're setting that in particular on that ratio. And also whenever we are focusing on that, we also gonna make that it should be coming as that, let's say set a show result. We're gonna just bring that later on, because right now we're not using the focus property and others, so we're gonna show it later on. So right now we can also make that one. So as you can see, we have the search property. I'm gonna just make a console log here. So let's see the value search, and here we're gonna see the search value. So if we just inspect the data here, and if we go in our console, so I'm gonna just remove everything. If I type, you can see we can cache the value. So that's the magic things gonna happen by setting that e.target.value. So now I'm gonna also do some kind of notation here, which gonna make that one is a very, very good and handy. So whenever we're gonna happen that to be that we are happen to be getting the search value, then we're gonna have to be an icon, which gonna be an X icon. And if the no search value is there, we're gonna happen to be a search icon. Okay, so right now you can see the search icon is right there, but instead of keeping that one in like that, I need to provide that within an absolute value here. So that should be something like that, an absolute right tree, top tree, and width 5, height 5, text should be baby shop text. So right now you can see it should be underlying here. So that's the same thing is getting to be there. But whenever we are happen to be there, you can see that's the one is coming. And also I'm gonna just provide that property in that very good ratio. So it should be similar with 5, height 5, and whenever you're gonna hitting on that, we need to do something like whenever we're gonna on click on that image, on that icon, we just gonna make a simple function set search should be as an empty string. So the value should be disappear. As you can see on remove, okay, on remove, That's the one. That's the search and working in that decent way. And of course, if you don't make it relative, you're gonna find it at the top. So you need to make sure that your parent div is just relative. And also we need to provide some of the connotation here. And also we're gonna make it as relative. By default, it's gonna be hidden. Only else can gonna be it will be flex. Item should be center, just to keep everything nice, tidy, and clean, so that we can understand a bit of better segment, and we can do a lot of things. So this is for right now. We're gonna keep it in that way. So later on, once you're gonna pouring the productivity and others, you're gonna bring back all of the segment. So now we need to provide that icon, right? So now why we need to provide that certain things in a separate way is because those orders icon, wishlist icon, user button, card icon, all should have the client side interactivity, right? So if we just go here, we need to create a separate function. Let's say it should be orders icon.tsx rfce. So that's going to be the orders icon. Then we're going to happen to be another icon, which going to be wish list icon.tsx rfce. So I'm going to keep the wish list icon, and then it's going to be coming off our, let's say, user button.tsx rfce. So that's going to provide our user button. So one more, it's going to be coming for that our card icon. So let's say card icon.tsx. Okay, so right now we can now, instead of making those things right like that, we can bring back our orders icon, and also we're gonna bring that our wish list icon, and also we're gonna provide our user button, and then we can bring back our card icon. That's it. So our 4-button statement is right there. For right now, I'm going to just go in a very, very simple and a logical manner by which we can know that what's actually happening, right? So now this one, of course, why we need to happen to be in client side, because we're going to show the count later on. But right now, we're not going to show the count. We're going to just simply make a package. Let's say it's going to be a package icon. And in the package icon gonna be providing a size of, let's say, 24. And of course, whenever the href gonna be, let's say, /user/orders. So that's where it's gonna take back. So right now this is gonna be happen to be there. And of course, we also need to be providing a span tag here. So this is the same statement and the same segment. It's gonna be there for all. And right now I'm gonna keep it as 0 to the class name. I'm gonna provide some of the distillate manner by which it's gonna provide a statement on go, especially for that special notation. For, as you can see, gonna be an absolute right to top to BG should be the baby shop sky, text baby shop white, and the text should be 11 pixel, font medium, width 4, height 4, rounded full, and to keep it in center, flex item center, justify center. If I there, you see it's nowhere, so it's at the top. It's because I need to make sure that this one to be in the relative, and also the hover text should be, let's say, baby shop sky, and also I'm going to provide that hover effect. Okay, so right now you can see that's the one. So now this is one of the graduation here. So I'm going to just bring back, I'm going to copy that statement, and now I'm going to go directly in my wishlist property here, and in the wishlist the same thing gonna happen. So I'm going to just provide like that, and this link should need to be coming from the next link here. It should be wish list, and instead of the package it's gonna be coming as an heart, RT heart. Okay, so now you can see that should be the heart icon, and another gonna be bring back our user button here, and the user button gonna be coming up a lot of classification by which we want it to show, especially if you see right now it's happened to be that welcome, sign in, register. So I'm gonna bring back after the card icon, because that user gonna be interactivity a lot more over there. So that should be here, and for that instances, for the card icon gonna be providing a shopping bag. Sure, should be shopping bag. So I think it would be a very, very good segment here, especially right now you can see we have that much. So user button. Now be that is okay to be see the design, because right now this gonna be other, this will not be there, because after logged in there should be a certain kind of different statement. So right now it's okay, I'm gonna keep it in that way. So right now we need to go and provide that user property here. So I'm gonna again, so for the user button here, also it's gonna be combining a link here as we're gonna drop it all together. So the link, and in the link it would be providing that an spend tag, and I need to provide that of that, let's say instead of this one in the span tag, instead of span tag I'm going to provide a user icon here. And for that href, let's say it's going to provide the href /auth/ sign in. So that's where it's gonna head back to us. So you can see right now the auth segment is right here, and the size should be for that, I'm going to provide a 30. And after that, the user statement, we're going to have another span tag here, and then a p tag, which is going to be, instead of p tag I can take another span welcome, and then another span tag which going to be, let's say, sign in /register. So that's going to be combining that statement. Now for this one, for the class name, flex item should be center, and I'm going to provide a gap of 2. I'm going to provide a group, and whenever I hover, text should be baby shop sky, and you're going to provide that hover effect. Okay, so this is going to be combining like that. Now to make it better, let's go in this span tag property, put a class name. Oh, right now I'm not gonna put any of the class name here. We happen to be okay, that should be I should provide on that particular statement. So flex column. Okay, yeah, that should be coming on that. So now we know that how it's gonna be measuring on that. Or you can just simply, instead of providing that, you can just simply also use the p tag. Even span, it will not, but it's gonna provide some sort of this deletion later on. So text should be extra small, font should be medium. So like that. So we have the welcome, and for this one, for the class name, font should be semi-bold, and text should be SM. Yeah, so now we have that. If we click, it will directly take back there. So same thing is happened to be there. So I think we are pretty closer on that. We happen to be in a very good structure ratio. So right now, as we did that, so we have the client application, we have our header. So now we need to provide specified our states, and also specified have the way we're gonna bring back the login, authentication, and other property, so that we can understand the segment in a better way. So we're gonna set up the state, right? Two more important things, because we need to go and start login, right? So in that way, it can be make a lot of sense. Otherwise we cannot go directly in that initial layer. So you're gonna first, or instead of doing so, we can also bring back to our productivity, just to see if the property is coming or not, because we can just go and bring back our category segment here. As you can see, the category, the banner, the product, we can do in a both way. I think I'm going to go directly on that, fetching the product, so that it can happen to be something in our table to start with. Later on, we're going to bring back our authentication setup and others. Let's start building that. So first, we're going to build a category section. As a section is the left, so that's what it's going to coming by. So we're going to go in our components. We're going to take another directory here, which going to be taking all of the home statement here. So that's going to be a categories section.tsx. CE. So all the category property is gonna underline here. I'm gonna just remove other things. Should be category section. So now, as you can see, we have our category section. So now we need to do a certain kind of scenario by which can make things in a good ratio. So everything, whatever the structure, it's gonna be right here. It's gonna be within the container. Okay, so within the container, and here we're gonna just put some of the class name. Min height should be screen, and also a flex padding wise should be 7, and also provide a gap of 3 if there is a gapping portion. So as we're making the flex, so the same is structurable data. So that's the two setup certain kind of things gonna be a file. So this is the one thing, and then it's gonna go and directly gonna have another div, and then it gonna coming other. So like it gonna bring the banner. So as you can see, put a class name gonna be a flex 1, and bj should be red 100, so that you can see other things getting the entire part. Instead of 100, I'm gonna just make a 50 just to happen to be there. Now we need to go in our category section. Here it's gonna so magic things gonna be coming all together, and we're gonna put everything as much as possible to align on that. And first of all, to go and make things look cool and better in the div, we're gonna make that one as a should be coming for, and in the meantime by default it's gonna be hidden. Inline should be MD screen should be inline flex column, pages should be the baby shop white, and height full, padding 5, border rounded MD. So this is gonna be kind of what we are talking about, and as you can see the banner and other statement gonna be there. The small screen is not there. So now we need to make some call to bring back the banner, to let the things gonna work all together. We need to fetch the data, which still, as you can see, we are not going to do in a client-side directory. We're going to fetch the data in server, so that whenever our application going to load, our data is right there. Okay. So first we need to understand how we're going to make the call, right? Then we need to go in a certain kind of scenario how we can fetch and do the other setup. So to understand that one, first we need to grab our, let's say we're going to grab some of the types. Okay, we're going to use a lot of types, especially within our application. So I'm going to go in our source. I think it should be good in our, you can either keep it in the source, or I think source would be do a lot of purpose. No, there is the type. Okay, global types is there. So I think also we can take another one, should be, let's say, type.ts. Okay, so that will strict to bring all of our type, all of the product type and others. So as you can see, in the meantime, on the type we have the category type, providing that ID property, and like the is in the category ID is string, name, image, and the category type should be string, and the brand should be ID name, because this is going to coming from the MongoDB, so it's underscore ID. And the product should be happen to be all the product ratio. You can just see whatever the scenario you're gonna have that. Then you have the address input, and others. This is the one segment, right? And then we need to go another segment. We need to go and create a configuration how we're gonna call. So first of all, I'm gonna go in our live here. Then over here, I'm gonna make a function called config.ts. One, it will be config.ts. Another, it's gonna be, let's say, api.ts. So these two things gonna be combining to get the call in our database, and then we're gonna get or fetch the data initially from there. So first of all, there should be an interface right here, which gonna be coming as an API config. We're gonna provide the base URL. Either the URL can be in string or is production, either it can be a boolean property and others. So right now we also need to go and provide, I'm going to just bring back, it's just you need to understand how those things work, and it's fine, it will go in a very systematic way. And then it's gonna happen to be there is the get API config, which gonna be taking the types as API config at the top. Now is client, if type of is equal window is not equal to undefined, that should be an is client property, and so means there, if there is a window property, it's going to be an is client flag. We're going to first get the base URL as string, and if is client is there, our base URL should be the next public API URL, or it's going to be the localhost 8000 API. So means we are just redirecting our server, and if it's not is client, like the server side, we're going to provide that API endpoint. Otherwise it's going to get directly in that https localhost 8000/API itself. So as soon what you need to do, this env setup, right, for our environment credential is right now not available. So what we can do right now, especially here at the root of our client, I'm gonna okay, there is the ANB. Okay, so okay, it's right here. So you have the API endpoint, we have the API URL. So this is gonna be focusing especially on there. So that's what we are talking about. So this is gonna be meant to be in that way. And also if it's production here, the process ENB, it's gonna be as production, and also the ENB gonna be as production. So in that segment, what we are actually getting, we're getting two setup. One is gonna be, we're getting that base URL and its production. So whenever we're gonna call that particular get API config, we're gonna grab the two value. One it's gonna be for that base URL, another it's gonna be coming as is a production. And after that, also we need to go and bring back another certain information, which gonna be, because we're gonna bringing everything all together in a certain kind of motion. As you can see, we're gonna have that fetch with a config property, and by default it's gonna happen to be get that endpoint, which gonna be a string, and then options gonna be request in it, which gonna resolve a promise. The base URL gonna be coming from that get API config, so that's gonna handle whatever the API configuration is. A base URL gonna be there. If the const URL gonna be base URL, and then endpoint start with / and then the endpoint, otherwise / endpoint. So we are going to be extracting whatever the endpoint we are passing that. Then the default option is going to be headers. Now we are setting the headers from here. We are also providing the revalidation as the 100. Either you can go to the 0 and to make that up next. Then the merge options is going to providing the default options, whatever is there. Then we are spreading the options. The headers going to be passing that the default options dot headers and options dot headers. So this is going to be passing that merged options. And after that, now is the time to go and bring the response. So if there is an error, you see the fail to fetch and providing the endpoint from which endpoint we are failing to fetch, and we are providing the error, throwing the error there. And if there is a response, await fetch. So we're using the build in fetch method. We're providing or passing whatever the URL we are constructing from there. So this is the URL it's gonna do, and then we're passing that merge option. So that's gonna be headers and other subsidiary, whatever the default value property we want to pass. And if response is not okay, we are providing the error. If the response is okay, we're providing the data which gonna be response.json. We are extracting all the data because we are getting the data as not as JSON, where then like we are making constructing back to our JSON from the stringify value. We're getting the data as JSON. We're returning the data after that. So this is the one certain kind of a scenario. And after that, this segment gonna be happen to be some sort of more, because this only happen to be get the data layer, because this after that property we also gonna happen to be that for the alt headers where you're getting the token, and after that we are validating the token, you know, we are providing the headers, and also we are providing the build query string by which we're gonna fetch all of the query data and providing the query string params and others. Also the API endpoints, you see the login, auth login, register, auth register, refresh, auth refresh, products / products. So this all property is just here we are passing directly from there, and as you can see from the API endpoints we can just access all of those, right? So now we need to work on that API. First of all, we need to import all of the methods whatever we are getting. It should be from / config, and from there what we're gonna grab is that we're gonna make that fetch with config. So every single thing, especially if we just make that fetch with config, so this is the one which you're gonna use, which we're gonna return the data, right? So here we're gonna calling that one, the API endpoint which we're gonna use. And after that we need to, let's say, export const. It should be fetch data, and that fetch data should be coming as fetch config. So whatever, it's the same scenario which you are now using the fetch data, it's gonna be more meaningful. And now we also need to export certain kind of commercial, like export the new enhanced function, and that function gonna be, let's say, if you fancy, should be function. It's gonna be providing the export, and that data from it gonna be / config, and from there we're gonna make a certain kind of segment. We're gonna export everything. So instead of config, it's gonna fetch directly from our API, right? So you're gonna have that fetch config, get API config, get auth headers, build query string, API endpoints, everything. We can just clearly grab it from there. So now I'm gonna close everything from there. So this is the time where we can really work with that. So first of all, we're gonna just go and fetch the things right here. Okay, so first we're gonna make that, let's say let categories it should be is equal and that should be let's say is equal to should be an empty string, and of course we need to provide a type should be category, and it should be an array of category. That should be our categories, right? And instead of const, we're going to use the let value property. Okay, by default getting the const, and also the error should be an error, and either it can be a string or it can be null, and by default it can be null if we are facing any error. Okay, so now we're gonna make that try catch property value here so that we can get everything. So try catch, and in the catch property here we're gonna provide that error if we are happen to be grabbing any error. So I'm gonna just make it an error. So if we're catching any error, the instances of error is there and the error message. Otherwise, it's gonna be passing that an unknown error occurred, and you're gonna just get that log as error. And now const, let's say const data is equal to await. Of course, if we make that await, you need to make it as an asynchronous function right here. The entire component should be an asynchronous function. Await should be fetch data from the leave API, and over here okay, over here we need to provide that / categories. And of course need to provide the type here, which the type should be the categories response here, but we're gonna pass that later. So we're gonna make that, let's say the categories should be is equal to data dot categories. And now it is not getting that type. We need to provide the type. So we can just simply bring back the type here. Let's say interface that should be categories response, and the response is gonna be, let's say categories. Category should be, it's gonna be passing that category as an array of category. So over here we can simply pass that category response type, and we need that first statement. We can remove the second one, closing one, and here now if we type that, you can see we are having only the categories. Okay, so right now what we can do, we can log the categories, right? So let's say categories, and if we go directly here, as you can see, okay, there is some sort of misconfiguration going on. Okay, I think, yeah, by default is getting that const again. It should be late. Okay, now if we directly go and inspect and console, and I believe it's grabbing but fetching nothing. Okay, / categories 404 not found. So categories functionality is not mimicking there. So I'm going to open my terminal here. I want to see the server. So over here I'm going to go with that localhost 8000. Okay, oops, not here, should be 8000 / API / categories. Okay, our category is right there. So means we are missing something. So if we go directly in our network, so let's just call again, and that time we can see okay, origin, okay, it will not fetch here as we are calling in the server side. It should be fetching here. Okay, the response is not okay because the endpoint okay, okay, we misspell, okay, GORI, okay, we're just making the misspell there, categories, that's it. So if we hit the categories, okay, categories, so that's the one, right? So let's go here and try one more time. Saying not found, so means our route is not found in here. So if we go in our server, okay, database is connected, everything is good to go. So why is not finding our data structure? That need to be underlined. It basically can be it's not finding the API. Okay, okay. and here we didn't attach the API. Okay, right now, okay, we're good. We're happen to be get everything. Okay, now we're having all of our categories. So if we go in our category segment, we know that we are having the categories. We can now simply map through the categories to the design and make the other things in a pretty good and default fashion. Of course, we can also make the filter property, all the data property, like the way we are looking forward to, like that, feature categories, which can filter through that featured, hot categories, which can make through the hot categories. So we can combine it, the data all together. So right now we're gonna just do some of the things here. So instead of that, we're gonna having a p tag, which gonna providing that the feature, not like that, should be featured. Okay, so that's gonna inline the feature data, gonna be providing a class name, font should be semi bold, and text should be LG, margin bottom should be 3. And after that, we're gonna happen to be a div. Now we're gonna map through the feature categories dot if the length is bigger than 0, bigger than 0, then we're gonna do something like we're gonna map through it, feature categories dot map like that, and every single thing should be as an item. That's it. And after that, if there is nothing available here, okay, why we need that feature categories dot map? Okay, because we need to provide that no feature categories available. Okay, I think that could be cool. So yeah, that could be cool. So here it's gonna be like that. Okay, we're gonna passing that. So here everything gonna be as an item. So the item gonna be okay. It's gonna be, we need to provide some data here, otherwise it's gonna be starting to make things worst. So here, if the map in that map, we're gonna happen to pass a link property. So in that link, we need to provide some of the data. Let's say I'm going to bring back the image from the next image here. And in the image, the source should be item.image. And of course, we need to provide the link. We need to provide the key should be item._id. And also the href going to contain over there. I'm going to go directly on that. Let's say the path name going to be a /. It's going to be, okay, /shop. And then the query should be passing as the category as should be coming item.id. So that is going to be where it is. So that's the one. And the alter should be category image. And of course, we're going to provide the weight as the server image is coming, width of 50, height of 50. That's it. So now we should be happen to be see the feature section is right here. I'm going to just remove that. You see the feature data. So that's what actually is happen to be there. So now after the feature, we're going to also happen to be a p tag, which is going to be item dot, not like that, should be coming as item dot name. Okay, so now we have the two value together, and now we need to work a bit on that to make it nicer. Class name should be flex, item should be center, gap should be, let's say the two of the gap we're gonna provide all together, and hover text should be, let's say baby shop sky, and then hover bj should be baby shop sky again, but happen to be 10% opacity. Padding should be 3, rounded should be empty, md, hover effect going to be there. So right now, okay, you see that's what's actually the way it's gonna be, and that is where, okay, there's something need to be changed. Some data layer is not rights on that, because we're gonna provide a class name width, we're gonna provide a 7 of width. That's it. And that's gonna fix all of the data. And also for the p tag, we can keep the p tag as it is right now, or you can make it a small p tag if you are looking forward to. Right now, I think this is really looking amazing, and it's going to working perfectly fine. So right now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring back all other setup, all other scenario and specialties like the data, whatever data is going to be coming through it, so that, okay, I'm going to bring back. So after, so this is the one kind of div it's going to be here. So below that, we're going to pour in all of our properties. So what actually is there, we are having that hot categories, we are happen to be the quick links, where all the quick links is available, customer support, special offers, shop by age. So this is the dummy parameter, but as you can see, the hot categories the same. The hot categories are the same. How we put that, we are mapping through the hot categories because we are funneling through after fetching the data, getting the data from the server. There is still no client side interactivity is there, all are in the server side action is going on. So the hot categories, so the hot categories that is there. Then we're having the especially for the hot categories, then we're having the quick links. We're going to provide in the quick links that all products, new arrivals, under 50, my orders. That's just a dummy links. You can do it as you want if you're looking forward to. We're having the customer support, all are redirecting to particular link as soon as others, special offers, like so. So you can add as much categories as you are looking forward to. That's up to you how you want to see it together, or how you are looking forward to make things better and make the devour in the way you are looking forward to. And also, I think need to provide a class name, and we should be 6. So the margin bottom is need to be providing on there. Okay, now we'll go. Okay, so we grab these things. Now it's time to bring back our banner and also to bring back our product. Now our banner is consisting two separate sections. One is that one, which is also a banner, and the other one typically another banner. And once you click on that, it will redirect directly to back to our shop now page. So these two banner are gonna coming from our API, so we can change anytime we want, and we can do and like make certain kind of things. First of all, in our home page where we are handling those banner statement, now instead of putting directly that, I'm going to go in my home component, and remember we make sure you are maintaining that directory setup, otherwise that can cause some of the issue. So right now, if we go directly from the banner.tsx, I'm going to just create that. So that would be our typical banner segment. I'm going to remove that extra BJ color from there, and instead of that instances, let's just bring our entire banner segment. So right now you can see that banner. This is the banner which we're gonna look forward and make things done with that. So first thing first, we need to get that banner data, right? To grab it, how we can go and do those things. First of all, I'm going to make that entire statement as an asynchronous function, because our entire banner, it will be a server side. And again, I'm saying that to you that once we are building this thing, we're going to maintain the diagram. So whenever we can use the server side, we're going to keep that as a server side. We will use only the client side when it's absolutely necessary. Okay, apart from that, we are not going to make that. Okay, did we bring that? Okay, our small menu and other button. Okay, that's all gonna coming up. So first, the banner, that could be need to provide that data layer. And how we can do that? We need to just put that banners, and the banners it's gonna be coming as a type of banners, and that could be coming like that, and it should be right now is equal to as an empty for the first instance. So now, as you can see here in our types, we have the type section, but if you just search the type, you can see we have the type also in admin. If you just come over here, you can see we have the banner type here. Okay, so that's the same banner type, the similar composition which we are going to use. So I'm going to copy that from it, and here I'm going to write it again. So instead of banner type, we're going to just write that as banners. So let's export banners, which having the ID, name, title, start from image, banner type, and the created ad is not required. We're going to not bring it right here. So I'm going to just import that banners from our types. So we are having the banner. Right now, we're going to create the function. So what I'm going to do as is in a server side, we're going to make that try catch parameter directly within this parameter. And we're going to make that if we have that error, which going to be console.error, and we're going to just log the error, which just we're going to see the entire error statement. And after that, we also, I'm going to open the terminal because the data going to load in our server terminal. And right now here, we're going to bring back the data. So const data should be await, and we're going to call our fetch data, which is going to be coming from lib API. We already extracted that, you know how to do it. So even you doesn't know, there is the repo, the code is available there. So you know how to fetch it, how to grab it. it and then use it. And even still, if you're facing any problem, let me know in the comments. So right now we're gonna just deal with the banners, and here we're gonna just pass the array of banner, and I'm gonna taking the first statement only, and from there we're gonna go directly the / banner. So that would be the route to handle, and we're going to assign that banners which going to be as the data. Okay, so that would be our data, or okay, what's wrong with that? So that could be the data. So this, as you can see, we're having the banner, and then we can rectify or pass the banner right there. And we can't reassign because we use const, we're gonna use let. So this time we can reassign the banner. So as you can see, same banners can reassign over here. So you can do, there is a lot of things, lot of ways. So I was just exploring some of the ways so we can do make that those things to work. Now there is other thing, other proposition, you can use that too. So now if you just look for the banners, and at the bottom, okay, I just move to the top, we have id, name, title, start from, image, banner type, created ad, updated ad. So all the data is right here. And if you want to keep in the type, you can keep in the type, updated also, like as you can see here, you can also make that as a string, and that will also working for you. If you need the data, you can use it, but there is not required those data. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make that image one. Now again, I'm keeping it as simple as possible without making any mambo jumbo. Just a simple procedure, that's it. Now of course there is a lot of advanced project is coming in the way, so especially if you people are following that project which we have that shop card, I think most of the people, that was the one of the most utilized project which ever built. There is a v1, like version 1 is coming, maybe it will drop after this, after the very next of this video, and there we did a lot of things. It's gonna be a very heck of a video, and of course you're gonna get the code for sure. So now the image one, it will be the banners, and from the banners I'm gonna take the first one, and should be image 2, it would be banners, and there it gonna get the image. So this is how we are going to provide the name. Now if we doesn't have the banners, right, banners dot length is equal to, let's say, 0, then we're gonna just return null. Okay, so now as you can see we have null, but if we just go over here, if it's bigger than 0, then you can see no banner is showing. So that's what it's gonna do. If we doesn't have any banner, like it doesn't have the banner, so this will not be shown over there. It automatically, the product gonna be at the top. So this is what we are actually regenerating right here. So what we can do, we need to create the entire statement over here. First of all, we're gonna go over here. If there is no banner, it's gonna provide that empty statement, and then if there is the banner, we're gonna return something, and that return statement gonna provide another, let's say, div. And on the div, we're going to provide a 2 separate div. So should be 2 div. One should be banner 1, and another should be banner 2. So this is the 2 banner which gonna be putting over there. Now for this pattern over here, I'm gonna just go some of the predefined custom here, which okay, which is going to be a grid columns by default 1. So if you just make a responsive method over here, as you can see, is side by side, so getting a very standard portion with the responsiveness. And for MD screen, get grid columns of 4, so we're gonna portioning, dividing, as you can see, it gonna 1 by 3 is gonna get only 1 column. So this is how we are dividing those statements. Now over here, so this is the one which gonna combine those of the maximize portion here. And in that portion, we're going to provide that MD as the call span tree. We're going to provide this as relative group, overflow should be hidden, and rounded MD. Okay, so you got the idea that, as you can see, it's separated those 2 statements. And also if you go in the responsiveness, you can see it's side by side. So that's what we are actually viewing to interrogate, bring to gain from there. So we did it. Now over here, we directly gonna import the image. Okay, so it would be our image. We're gonna import it from the next image, and over here the source should be, that would be image 1. And if the image 1 is available, should be coming directly the images, and the alternative tag should be, let's say, banner image. and then we're gonna provide a width. We're gonna take that image from the server as 800, and also the height we're gonna provide it by 500, and of course we're gonna make that one as the priority, so it's gonna load at the same time. And the class name, we're gonna make the width of full, and we're gonna provide a height of a 72, so that would be the maximum height for the smaller screen. And whenever you're gonna make that MD, so it's MD, then it's gonna provide that, let's say, mean height. We're gonna provide a customized height, which is gonna be 400 pixel. So this is the minimum height ratio gonna be extracting. And as you can see, we doesn't have that host name like this rest.cloudinary.com, which is we need to configure in our next.config.ts file. So over here, as you can see, next.config.ts, we need to come over here, and now we need to define that some of the pattern which can really helpful to combine of that setup. So first of all, we're gonna do several things. First of we're gonna make that images tag, so the images, and over here in the images we're gonna make that unoptimized. We don't want to optimize right now, just in test build. Now if you go in the production, you can do that. I don't want to cause my server a lot of headaches, so I'm going to keep it, but I'm going to keep it not now. Once we're going to deploy that time, I'm going to keep that one like that way. And for the remote patterns, which going to access those parameter of that server, like from where I can, the domain parameter, and here we're going to provide that protocol, which going to be coming as an HTTPS. So that's the protocol which we're going to maintain. And after that, we also going to provide the host name, and the host name which going to be the host name of the Cloudinary. So this is need to be providing over here. Otherwise, your system going to be providing a lot of trouble. It will not render till you provide that details to for the Next.js, like from which server. And now also you can make so many ports selection and other parameter which can really handy to get the exact point of that data structure. Okay, what is saying again, host name. Okay, did we just missed anything? So we provide the images, and then we make that remote patterns, and in the patterns we pass the protocol, we pass the host name. Okay, there is one missing, the R, it was not copied properly. So rest.cloudinary.com, as we hosted our images in the Cloudinary. Of course, we can also directly go in the Amazon setup like the S3 buckets. If you are looking forward to, let me know in the comment section. So now we can see our banner is available. Now we can just go and render some other design to make it looks nicer and clean. So to make that, as we have that setup over here, so now we can provide the other design, which okay, the height should be like that, otherwise it will not grab it. Okay, and then we're gonna make that object should be, let's say it should be a cover pattern, and okay, should be covered. And also whenever we're gonna make that group, and whenever hover, that scale should be 1:110, and you're gonna provide that hover effect setup to make a little bit squashing parameter. You can see that looks nice, so make it bigger. Okay, that's similar of that pattern which we are having that. Okay, cool. Now after that, we should be having another button here which can go and do a lot of other things and do these things in a proper way. So after that image, we're gonna take a div. On the div, we're gonna take a p tag. Over here it's gonna be take that image one. So image one dot, let's say it's gonna bring back the name parameter. As you can see, the base stills today, and also it's gonna take the h2 tag, which gonna be providing image one, and that should be the title. So we're gonna get every single thing and all the one, and then we're gonna have a link button here which gonna pass that shop now, or we can just keep it smaller, shop now. And that shop now button should be providing the href, which gonna be just landing us directly to the shop. So now, as you can see, these three things should not be here. As you can see over here, we made it relative. So you're gonna provide an absolute positioning here, absolute. And then from the top, it would be 0. From the left, it would be also a 0. And we're gonna provide you full of width and height. We're gonna provide full. You're gonna make it a flex. And flex column, we're going to provide a gap of 3, and the item should be, let's say it's going to be in the center. Justify should be center, and over the text should be, let's okay, not be together. Text should be baby shop. Why is not coming? Baby shop white text. Okay, done. So now if we save that, we should be able to see it's going to the middle, but you see the design is not fully completed, but we know its placement is okay. So now we're gonna do one by one. We're gonna make things done in a pretty decent way. So first of all, for the P tag here, for that one, we're gonna just provide that font as bold to make a little bit a bolder ratio, and text should be small. So that's the one. I think that's the one make a similar sense over here. And after that, for the other one, for especially for the title, which we want to make it focused, so we're going to provide a class name over here, which is going to be text 4XL, font medium, and max width is going to take the 96. So then we're going to break and just coming back together, text center, and we're going to make it as capitalized. So the bigger one should be coming. You see that every letter is going to be capitalized up there. Now for the button here, we also need to provide that button in a very good symphony here. The text should be the capitalized, BJ should be baby white rounded full, and the background color is already taken from there, so no need to put that. Just keep it like that. And for the text and okay, oh no, so it's the background, so you need to put that. Background, the baby shop white rounded full, font medium, text should be the black one, padding X6, padding Y2, text base. And also hover on the particular button. We want the BG should be the baby shop sky 10 border. Border should be the transparent, and hover the border gonna be the white color, and hover effect. So kind of little like that. As you can see, a bit of effect over here. You can also make the text as white. So I think that could be whenever we're gonna hover. Let's say hover. Text should be. Let's say it should be coming for the baby shop white. Okay, looks nice. Okay, now that's up to you. You can do a lot of other parameter. So this is the one image, right? Within the same segment, within the same parameter, the next image gonna be coming the same motion. As you can see, the same strength parameter here. I think there is no gap, so it's gonna be crushing altogether. Now, as you can see over here, what's happening, we are making the same statement, same things, and also the same parameter name. You just need to duplicate it and then replace it. That's it. And of course, we're gonna make that once we hover, text should be, let's say, baby shop white. Okay, done. So now if we hover it, okay, so we have the banner. So this is a very simple way to generate the banner. So as you can see right now, we are now putting back, it's getting, especially it's getting in the shape, right? You can see this is really good and cool way to promote those things in a very decent manner. Now, if we click on that particular statement, as you can see, it doesn't have a shop page, but over here in our this scenario, if we put something which having the not found, we actually having a pretty decent not found page. So that's actually, you can see the slick design here. You can directly go back to the home and you can do all other chores, which really good. Right now it's not good at all, especially once you're building your application and we want a global not found page for our entire statement. I'm going to close the admin. So here I'm going to just provide that this would be that not found.tsx RAFCE. So that should be not found page. So here it's gonna render that not found page instead of showing that all the black compartment. As you can see, we are having that not found page statement. So this is the beauty once you are building the application in a pretty decent way. So for the not found page, we can create, and because we don't want to be that one as a client-side component. So I'm going to go directly over here, and at the same time, what I'm going to do, especially in that pages, so we can keep it in the pages. So we make it at the home, or we can also keep it in the common. I'll keep it in the common as it's coming for the not found. In the common, we're going to have a directory where it's going to be coming for the pages. And over here, I'm going to put that as not found page client.tsx RFCE. So that's going to render our not found property here. So instead of this one, we're going to just put that not found page, not found page client. Okay, So there you can see it will render that not found page client. Now we need to work a lot of there. So within that parameter, we can go and make those things done. So first of all, we need to have that our motion parameter. So I'm going to go in the terminal, and I think in the package over here for the client, we have that package. No, it doesn't have that. So let's go in the terminal. I will just directly go in my another terminal setup over here, and from there, let's cd into client. And I'm going to just render npm I framer motion. You can use directly the motion here, but I'm going to go in a both way. I'm going to provide the framer motion, and also I'm going to strictly bring back the motion here. So in that way, it's going to do a lot of other sense. So first of all, I'm going to make our entire statement as an use client parameter. As you can see, we are having that our use router here, which we're going to make that use router to navigate through. We have all the icons, we have the motion parameter. Now this is not the text property, or what I can do, I love to make it pretty much like providing the entire statement, because this page you can design according the way you want. So for me, it's just a simple structural design which we did of page not found. Now here, for why I'm providing that to you, because this is the basic standard of code. You can just provide the setup to any AI and they can generate. My focus is to basically to provide you the core build up, the core setup of our application layer. So this is the beauty of your pages, of your structure. Either you can put a light setup, or you can put like that a dashing setup. That's up to you. So for me, as you can see, this is just, I'm going to just provide you with explanation so that you can understand a bit over here, so which can really make a lot of sense to you once you are going to debug on those parameters. So first of all, as you can see, we have the help. I'm going to go from the top. We have the router. Then we have our quick links here, by which we can just sorting to go through the quick link setup. We also having that popular categories here. We can directly go. You can fetch that from the database if you're looking forward to, but I don't want to call any server in my not found pages. Not that much good to go on that. Also, I'm going to go directly on my helpful pages. Now over here in the div, you can see the mean height and the maximum proportion here. This is the background which is coming from that particular div. Then we have the like full width and max width of 4 axles. So this is the one which combining those things. And over here, I'm going to providing, this is the card which is actually getting. So if I put padding y0, I think, yeah, now this is looks better. So okay, that's cool. Of course, we are pending for the footer. We're gonna provide that. So now this page is containing that within a card. In the card header, we are providing that question mark and that icon over here. And then for the card title, we're providing the title. We're providing the description here, and that's the entire description which is providing right here. This title, one seems to have wonder of to playtime. Don't worry, we'll help you to find what you're looking for. Now, of course, there is the button here by which you can router push for back to the home. As we are, you can go through router, you can also go through the link. That's up to you. I use the button, so I go directly using the router.push. And then we are providing the text for the explore an amazing collection of baby products below. So that's the one which we are explaining to. And then of course we have the quick links, and the quick links which actually mapping through that entire link statement. So those the links providing a bit of like the design here, just a slight design, having the motion to provide the compartment of the initial motioning design, and all are as a linked parameter. Now you can design it the way, again, those some similar pages which I'm gonna leave it to you, so you can code, you can try your any of the AI, you can try any other setup to find a solution for it. You can build your own characterize, you can publicize the design the way you are looking forward to. But you know, the main focus here, of course, you're gonna get everything. I'm gonna go one by one. So now after that, we have the popular categories, we have the helpful pages. Those all are just we have the store information, contact information, and then we're having our privacy and others. No worries if you cannot go through it. Of course, the link, it will be in the description to clone everything, and you can have everything wherever you would like to. So now let's go back to home. Now in the home, we are having the banner. So now we need to provide our product list. So it's time to bring our product in the motion. This is very, very important, because the product is going to play a very, very important role in our entire segment. So we need to be very careful once we are doing that. So first of all, instead of this statement here, I'm going to go directly in our home. Over here, I'm going to create a separate component, should be product list.tsx. RFCE. So that would be representing our product list. I'm going to remove this one, should be product list. Okay, so now we should be able to see our product list, and that should be at the very bottom of that the design parameter. So let's just go and start building the statement. Now the first ever the product list should be in the server component, because we're going to call the product and other parameter, the similar things which we did. So let our products, and that product should be a type of product which already there in the type. And right now I'm going to just provide an empty array over here. And if you can go and focus on the product type, whatever the product you're having, we have the ID, name, description, price, discounted price, stock, average, rating, image, category, brand, ratings, and quantity. So quantity as the number. Now you can see the brand taking the capacity of the brand and others. Now over here, I think this brand is similar, so we can actually referring that brand. Okay, no, the banner is different. Okay, right now we can just go the same proportion. We're going to go directly in the try catch. In the catch block, we can just simply make that log over here, which gonna provide that let's say it's gonna make that product fetching error, and here we're gonna pass directly the error. And for this one, let's make that const data is equal to await. And of course, as we make await, I want that entire component should be fetched in the server side. So that's the component and should be fetch data. And within the fetch data, we're going to provide that product. Of course, we need to define that interface here. So interface should be products response. So in that response, it should be providing the products, which gonna be type of product and should be an empty array. So let's make that product response, and over in the response, okay, I don't want the entire compartment here. I want just the first statement, the first parameter. And over here, we're gonna pass the route, which is gonna be coming for the products. So should be products and /, of course, we need to provide that per page. And right now we're gonna provide the per page of 10 directly over here to do the things. As we're having the fetch data, the per page going to render the per page scenario. Especially if you're looking here, as you can see, we're rendering the 10 products for particularly here. So we are restricting over here the per page maximum 10 products can be fetching over there. So now let's make that a products, and the product should be is equal to, let's say, the data, and that data dot products. So that should be the products. I think not the const should be let, as I said, it's getting the const, but it should be coming directly on the let parameter. That's where you can do the things. So now I'm going to log with the particular product data. So if we just log the products, and if we open the terminal here, so let's go back to the client, and you can see entire product data right here. So in the data, what we are having that you can see the ID, we are having all 10 products ID parameter and others. So this is a pretty beauty the way it's rendering. So now we are having those data statement. So first of all, we need to provide a combination. If we doesn't have the products dot length, if it's equal to 0, means we doesn't have any products, or you can make that one as an empty category or empty ratio, as the products is gonna coming as those separate scenario. We can just simply use that isArray function. So let's go to the npm, and we're gonna use that as a tiny bit of library. So let's say JS isArray. Okay, not like that. I think I have that package, so you can just use that. This is a pretty JS isArray. So that's the package here you can use if you're looking forward to, of course, use. Otherwise, if you don't want to, I think it will not. It will support. Okay, let's just try. Let's just see if it can support that TypeScript parameter here. So we can just simply make that one to be coming here, and npm I JS isArray. So within that isArray, what we can do here, we can simply contradict that is it isArray or not. So as you can see, we can import here, import isArray. So you can see is string arrays, number array, and then the validate array. So we can just validate isArray or not. So this is how you can see isArray is true. So you can go through the product. If the product have an isArray, you can provide that, or you can also go use that loadish parameter if you're looking forward to. There's a lot of other things you can also make that like combination, like put instead of manually typing, you can use a tiny packages to do the things. But anyway, we can simply go and make those things right now. Later on we're going to combine that. So first of all, in the return, we're going to provide a div here. So let's go in the div and p tag no products available. So right now it will, this message it not gonna show, so I'm gonna make that one as a not is equal to 0, so that you can see the no products available is right there. And I'm gonna just make it a little bit clutch here, so should be coming like that, no products available, just like that. I think this make a lot of sense. And in the page here, I think on the page itself, padding y7, so we're gonna having the product list parameter. And I believe so we can now also provide a margin top of 3, so that it gonna crashing, not crashing with according to the banner. So even in that sense, so okay, right now we're having the product, so it's our time to show the product in our data structure. Now, as we have the product, so especially in the product list parameter, we can now focus to show the product in particular way. So first of all, we're gonna go and render this everything here. So we're gonna just make these things a predefined some of the class them here to just go and combine that to take these things. So after that, which also can propagate to having the margin top and others. So like so. So okay. Like that, while chat is open, so it's saved. And after that, we need to bring back our the proportion of the product list. So I'm going to provide a div here. I think yeah, it's just need to reload here. It's not rendering the latest one. Yeah, that's the one which you're talking about. So here I'm going to take another div, and within the div parameter, I'm going to just go and map through it. Let's say products.map, and every single product's going to take that product. And from the product itself, we're going to just return another, which you need to be, let's just say passing a p tag here. So let's say it's going to be passing that our product card, right? And in the product card, the key should be, let's say it's going to provide that product.id. So that should be the key. And here we will be able to see all the available product card here. So now also that's the version here, which need to be provided a pretty good proper. I think this one is not required. I think one div is enough for to do the conclusion here. So first of all, you're going to provide a class name. It's going to take the full weight, and of course padding should be take a 5 of the padding. And then I'm going to make it a grid, and the grid calls by default it's going to take 2, and LG grid calls of 4, and of course we're going to make that Excel devices grid calls of 5. So that should be the for the larger devices, and put a gap of 3. So now it's going to take the 5 by 5. If you go smaller, as you can see, getting 4 and getting 2. So maximum minimum is gonna get the 2 parameter, which can be defined in a very good sense, and lot of other parameter too. So as you can see, that's the same conclusion and property which we are looking forward to. Of course, the sidebar which we're gonna take back directly here, we're gonna bring that later on. So now we need to provide that product parameter. So we need to create a separate component. I'm going to go in the common, and here I'm going to create a unique component for all of us, because that we're going to use a lot of places here. So that should be our product card component here, and we are going to call that component right here. So this is our over here. So I'm going to just provide within let's say it's going to be product card, and here we're gonna pass the key the similar way. The key should be product.id, and of course we're gonna pass our entire product over there. So should be passing that product as the props of the product. So every time we are going to render, we're gonna utilize okay, did you import the product card? No, we didn't import it. We just rewrite that one. So let's import it right here from the common directory. Right now, as you can see, we have the product card. So let's go back to our product card, because we need to do a lot of work over here, because this is one of our very, very useful and fundamental card, which you're gonna utilize that one. So in our okay, I think the naming is not good. So it's a sum of it should be product card, PRODUCT, product list, and then okay, I think should be let's say product card. Yeah, that's little slight mistake here. And I'm gonna just go directly to rectify over there. Okay, put always. Let's just replace that. Replace that. So now it looks good. So I'm gonna make that product card, and of course I'm gonna just remove that one from. Okay, now we're good. So in the product card parameter, I want that one to be especially to make breakdown as the product. So the product should be coming and let's say in the sense of providing the type, the product should be passing as products. So this is the product data statement ratio we're gonna do and make things done. And now, as I define that, so in that top layer of the div, we need to provide a link and the topmost parameter. So link, because whenever you're going to click the entire product, we want that to be pushing that to particular image, particular page parameter, right? So we need to get that image right here, and in that image, of course, we need to provide that href, and that href should be coming not like that, should be coming with the backtick. And over here, it should be focusing the force product, and then it's gonna go directly using that product.id. And for the image, the source should be, let's say, product.image, and of course, all tag should be product image, and we're gonna provide a width of 500 by 500 image. We're gonna taking over from there, and that's it. So right now we should be having to have our images, as you can see, and that's the for all the images. If we click on there, of course the page, it will not be found here, but we're gonna create it for later on, so no worries about it. So now also you need to provide some of the class name to make it looks a bit of nice and clean. So as you can see, we're gonna provide that class name for that. Height, width should be full, height should be 32, object cover, group cover scale 110. Now it doesn't have a group, so let's go at the top. We need to make this one looks better. We're going to provide a border, and rounded should be MD. So the medium round data should be there, and I'm going to make it as a group. So group, and overflow should be hidden, and width should be full, and I'm gonna make it as related because the absolute data it's gonna go to provide on there. As you can see right here, that's the similar contradictory setup which we are actually looking forward to. So now for the link statement here, put a class name over here, and then the link, it should be actually that link gonna cover up for, as you can see here, the link gonna cover up the image, and as you can see, this type here is not providing anything. So the link, that's the anti-proportion where the link going to be holding its proportion here. Later on we can focus on to bring the other setup. So to make that underline, so let's put in the class name. I'm going to provide a padding of 2, overflow should be hidden. I'm going to also make it as relative here, and I'm going to make it a block. Okay, so now it should be happen to be see a padding here and that hover effect. Good. Now another one, it should be which gonna be a discounted badge, so by which we are going to showcase what kind of discounted percentage we are actually looking forward to. And to do that, we're gonna go directly in our common directory here, and in the common directory you're gonna take another file which gonna be make us that discount percentage, or discount, I'm going to just name the page of that. So discount badge. So over here in the product card, we need to import that discount badge. So let's just, in that notion, should be discount badge. Okay, so the discount badge, we also can pass some of the class name. Now there we're gonna provide it two certain kind of things. First thing first, we're gonna take us directly that discount percentage as the product.discount percentage, and also the class name which can take absolute top 4 left too, because we can later on manipulate wherever we can actually passing that parameter. And of course, as we are passing the two value in interface, we can just simply make those things right. So I'm going to just make this one here. The prop should be discount percentage coming as a number, and class name should be as a string. Now here it should be coming as the props. Now in the props, what it's gonna happen to be that we're gonna get discount percentage, we also gonna get the class name. Okay, done. Now, as we did those part here, we now need to show what kind of discounted value we're gonna pass that. We're gonna just provide a span tag here. And in this span tag, we're gonna just provide the discount percentage, and that percentage value should be minus from there. So you're gonna just provide a minus tag here so that it should be okay. You can put it here. I think it's better to put it here. So as you can see, that's the value gonna be getting the minus value. So in this product, as you can see, 10% discount, the previous value is 55. By the 10% discount rate is there is 50.31. So that's what we are looking forward to establish right here. Now, provided a class name, of course, we're gonna use the CN value here, which can really provide any kind of contradictory value to disappear. And we're gonna make it a block. And of course, we're gonna make the background should be baby shop red should be there. And then text should be baby shop white. Okay, and okay, I need to go in my screen here, and after that, remember, it will not take the absolute value here because we didn't provide the class name yet. And the text should be x small, px should be 3, padding y should be 1. And after that, rounded should be full. And of course, there should be font should be semi-bold. So this is the ratio here. But we need to provide another one. We need to provide the class name. So whatever the class name you're going to provide, it's going to take a hit. So you can see the same ratio, same structure right here. And of course, after that, we just need to use a percentage value so that it can know that this is the value which we are talking about is just an absolute percentage value. Now you can see this is absolutely fine. We are now doing everything in a proper way, in proper manner, and we are good to go. So this is the link parameter which is done everything. Now, of course, we need to have that wishlist button. So let's say wishlist button, it will go here. So I'm gonna talking about okay, there is okay, why the wishlist button is not showing here? Okay, the button should be somewhere here because that's gonna add it to the wish list. We're gonna see why actually it's not showing here. So there should be the wishlist button here, but in production it's not showing, but we're gonna bring back here. So first of all, we need to provide that our wishlist button. So I'm gonna go and create that component here which can generate the wishlist. Actually, wishlist property, I think it would be better to provide the latter part of the video, because remember our wishlist statement is still pending to be compromising on here. So I'm gonna just keep it like that. So just keep it remember that the button should be coming over here. So first of all, you need to provide the details here. So I'm going to provide a giving a p tag here. So it should be, let's say, product dot category dot name. So there you can see that's the same statement here which can be coming after baby deals and others. So that's what actually we are maintaining. And at the top of here, we're going to provide just an HR tag. So just to provide the line here should be HR. Okay, so that's the gap which you're talking about. So put a class name, padding x should be 4, padding y should be 2, and space y should be 1. Okay, so either you can put a px or you can just provide. I think the 2 is good, so it's gonna get the 4 pixels statement. Okay, now looks better. Now for the p tag here, for especially for the particularly providing the name here, we can just simply provide those class name here, which gonna combining is that the uppercase text should be extra small, font medium, text baby shop, text light, it would be there. And after that p tag, we should be having another p tag which you're gonna combining that, let's say, product dot, that should be providing the name of that our product. And for the name, as you can see, this taking a big space over here. We don't want it to be taking that much big space. I'm going to make that a line clamp of 2, so maximum 2 line proportion it would be there, and text should be small, and I'm going to provide a height of 10, otherwise it's gonna crashing in between, so I don't want it to be follow through. And now after that, we need to also be providing a price container, like providing the price segment. So I'm going to go in my components there in the common, so it should be a price container.tsx, because we're going to render in that way, because those tiny bit of component we're going to utilize and use it and a lot of other parameter later on, so that it need to be like that. So in the price container, the price should be, let's say, okay, not the private, should be price, that should be providing that product dot price. And also the discount percentage, uh, discount percentage should be, let's say it's gonna be product and then discount percentage. As we pass the data, so let's go directly in the price container. Now we need to hold the price here. We need to bring back everything the way we are passing. And remember, as we are passing directly here as the property as props, so in the props we need to provide that as, let's say it's gonna be coming as a props. And in the props, you're gonna receive especially the price and also the discounted percentage. Now, how the way we want it to show, that should be coming as this appearing value here. So as you can see, so that's the value which we're gonna combining it together. Now you can see there is a very static version. If it doesn't put that height of 10, like what we did in the especially in that name here, you see I don't want to put the height of 10, right? Now what is gonna happen, you see that component, you see that value is getting at the top, which is not looks so good. So I just squash it together to provide a height of 10. Now there is a lot of other way you can also solve that, but I feel suitable in this particular manner. So now in this particular behavior, we also need to have another proportion here, which is actually called the price formatter, by which we can format the price according to the country, according to the data available and others. So let's go and in the common here. So I'm gonna go in the common and create a new file, which gonna be price format. So formatter.tsx RFCE. So that will help us to format all the price data the way we are looking forward to. So what I'm going to do in this particular statement here, I'm going to just bring that price formatter. And in the price formatter, right now, I'm not going to provide, okay, we can pass an amount. The amount should be passing that price. Okay, so this is the first statement to provide that amount data for this price formatter. So let's go in the formatter, how and why it's gonna be interacting in that way. And of course, there should be an interface here. So let's say interface. Again, I'm gonna keep the similar name as the props. So the amount should be the amount. It can be either a number or of course it can be as an undefined. Either the value could be there. And after that, of course, it can also pass the class name, which okay, that should be class name, which can be a string. And the class name is not mandatory. It can be there or may not be there. Okay, of course, this entire statement, I'm gonna pass that within the props property, and then it's gonna take the amount and also it's gonna take the class name. So right now, this currency statement, it's gonna, because if you go especially in the production, you can see we have USD. If I change any, like I want to change the euro, you can see the effect is going everywhere. And even you reload your entire page, you see how this thing is affecting. So that's what we're gonna create in entire statement. So this is gonna work like, I'm going to handle it using the Redux toolkits, not the Redux, Justin, in the particular state, the way we are handling the users and others. So we can maintain that one within our parameters. So that's what we're going to build up, right? So first of all, right now, still, we doesn't have the state, we doesn't have the parameter. So we're going to go in a pretty simple way. We're going to directly go with the currency and to see what kind of value, what kind of parameter we can provide. So first of all, what I'm gonna do, if there is no amount, like we didn't pass any price, we're gonna just return as null. So nothing gonna be passing there if there is no amount, right? And if there is amount, we're gonna make that a formatted price. So should be const formatted price, and the price should be coming a new. We're gonna use the same similar of the JavaScript notation. It's gonna be coming as a number, and from the number it's gonna be coming, let's say I'm gonna provide the number of US US. Of course, the parameter, it will be different once we're gonna implement the structure there. So the style should be not like that style effect. The style should be as a currency, and after that, of course, it's gonna make that currency. Okay, why is providing that? Okay, let me try again. What's the wrong here? So we are providing the new number, and okay, we're providing the new number. In that new number, we need to pass the amount because it doesn't have that converted amount right now. So we need to provide the currency number. It's just gonna be the simple amount which we are providing here, and there we're going to make that to local string, and the local string going to be, let's say, en. We're going to provide that United States, the dollar parameter. Later on, we're going to implement the different value of there. So you can provide the currency should be USD, and of course we can also provide the style here. Style should be currency, and of course you're going to provide that minimum fraction of digits gonna be 2, and also maximum fraction of digits gonna be as 2. So that would be our amount. So instead of that particular div here, which we can now remove, we don't want to provide a div, we just provide a span tag here to be a little bit in a very easy fashion, and you're going to pass that formatted price. So now if we look at here, we should be able to see some of the priceable data. No, there is no data available right now. Why? Should be seen here. So we're providing the formatted price, we are passing the amount, we have the price container. Did we bring back, yeah, we have the price container here. Okay, should be amount, the key should be amount. There was the mismatch of the key. That's why I left the TypeScript, because if we doesn't use the TypeScript, we don't know where the error is and why it is yelling on that. So that's the beauty whenever you're using the TypeScript. Now we can provide some of the class name. The class name, of course, we need to provide using that cn property value here. So should be cn, and here the first statement, it will go, let's say I'm going to provide this statement over should be it gonna coming as that text should be sm, and font should be semi-bold, and text should be, let's say I'm gonna make that as a text, which is gonna be let's say I'm gonna make that rate, and after that it also gonna take whatever the class name which we are providing right now. Okay, so right now, as you can see, that's the price data structure which we are having right now, but it will not be, you see the dollar sign is right there, so it looks good, quite good. So now this setup is done for the time being. Later on we're going to come back to it again, because we have a lot of other things to be done in that particular statement. So this is the one statement value here, which are providing that parameter. So we can also provide some of the class name here, and the class name which gonna be a baby shop text light, line true, font medium, because that should be the previous price, right? And after that, we're gonna use another price container here. In that price container, we pass the amount price, right? So the amount, it should be not that particular, okay, not the price container, should be price formatter. Price formatter, and in the price formatter, for the amount, we cannot directly pass the discounted amount. We need to initialize the value. We need to extract the amount, like how much amount we need to send, because we need to do the calculation. So let's say discounted price should be is equal to, we're going to provide the price, then we're going to multiply the price, and we're going to post the value on that one. It's just a simple mathematical calculation, getting a discounted percentage divided by 100, just a simple mathematical equation, nothing else. And so then it's going to pass that discounted price. Done. So right now, as you can see, we are having the price. You can calculate it. If there is any mistake, you can just redo it and make it correct. Now for the class name, let's say make it, it should be a flex, item should be center. So every item should be center aligned, and the gap should be 2, and of course we need to provide that text should be small text. So that's what we are going to do, and as you can see, that should be taking a bit of healthy space right there. Okay, looks good. So now pending is that our add to cart button. This is also one of the very important part of our application, because everywhere we're going to use that button. Wherever we are needing a button, we are going to use that particular button instead of making every single time a separate button and others. Of course, there should be an authentication parameter and others. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna come in the product card, I'm gonna close the others. Right now, let's go directly here. I'm gonna go create another file which should be add to cart button.tsx rafce. So there it's gonna be taking that add to cart button statement, and I'm gonna come back after the price tag should be taking that add to cart button. So right now you will be seeing that add to cart button should be appearing at the bottom of it. Now the button can handle a lot of other parameters. Right now, as you can see, I'm not logged in. If I try to add to that button, you see, either I can directly round back to the sign in page, or I can open a model. So that's up to you. I can be just the page redirecting the user to the sign in page, or you can just open a model similar as the sign in where user can directly go to make the sign in portion. So this up to you. So now here, what we need to do, this is gonna hold up all the state management. This is going to hold up all the typical parameter here. For right now, as it doesn't have the state and user, we need to make it as simple as possible to count down like the tackle through all the scenario, right? So what we need to do is there, we will just make a simple and simplest parameter right here. So that should be coming directly as a button. So let's go directly to the button here, and then we're going to pass that our shopping cart and like so, and then add to cart. Of course, we're not needing it right now. Later on, once we're going to import it in a lot of value, we can just provide that. Now for the button, and we're going to provide a variant here, which going to be passing that as an outline variant, and of course, and also we're going to provide the class name. So provide the class name here. Now we're gonna make, okay, the class name is still pending. So in the class name, we can either put the class name, because by default, we're gonna provide a lot of parameter. As you can see in the product card, where we're gonna define that I want to take the entire product statement from there, right? So we need to have the product directly over there. Otherwise, we can't do a lot of work, because whenever we're gonna add to cart, I need the product directly here. So this product statement and others, it need to be generating over here so that it can contain all the properties, all the statement directly on that ratio. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna provide that coming as from as a part of the props. And in the props, we need to grab that especially for the product and also the class name. So right now, we're going to provide the class name within the ratio of the CN. And here, we're going to provide the class name for that. Let's say at the first statement, the class name, it would be pretty simple and easy. I'm going to make that rounded as the full by default, padding X of 6 and margin top of 1. And if we're going to provide any of the class name, it will take place. That's it. So right now, as you can see, in hover is taking the effect on here, but the gradual effect is not taking the one which we are looking forward to. Let's go directly the button components which we are happen to be there. So let's should be button. Not that button. I'm going to talking about the source UI button here. So also I need to provide some of the changes on that particular button here, because we need to provide our colors, know the colors which it is actually looking forward to. And you can do it like that, or you can simply pass the color from the product card. That's up to you. But if you just look back over here, especially on that button parameter, because right now it's showing some of the gray color, but what we are wanting, looking forward to have that on, so you're hovering that, instead of that color, we want that color which you're looking forward to. So as you can see, the default one, instead of primary, we can just simply pass that baby shop sky, which is going to be taking that 90%. So okay, not yet. Okay, that should be okay. Or I can just simply stagnate all the button structure here so that it can take whatever the sizes which you're looking forward to. So the outline, we are providing the baby sky of 20. That's actually going to take effect right now. So make the color combination the way you are looking forward to, and that would be a very little handy. Right now, nothing gonna happen because we need nothing to be happen there. So nothing is gonna be there. First of all, we can just make an on-click function here to do the text, which can be really admirable. And the text gonna be passing a function which gonna be handle. Let's say it would be handle add to cart. And of course, we need to define that function, const handle add to cart, and that should be a simple arrow function. Then let's say I'm going to pass that alert dot alert, or we can just simply pass that window alert, window dot alert. Let's say hello. Once we did that, we're gonna tragically get an topmost error over here. It's gonna coming up, no worries. If we just reload, I think my machine is getting a bit of slower. So if we're gonna coming up, as you can see, we are passing a function over here, but our entire product card is still rendering in the server side, our page also rendering in server side, so we cannot invoke the call directly here in that server side component. So you can see that's the error which we are passing, that even handlers cannot be passed to client component props. If you want to pass a client component props, you just need to make that use client flag on that particular statement use client. So now our entire, not the entire product card, just only that add to cart button, it's gonna be coming as a use client. And you see the function is working perfectly fine. So we are good to go to on that particular statement, I think so. Now of course we can show the toast message. If we just make that toast, I think toast is not defined here, so we can just rectify the toast here to be providing in a very good fashion. So I think we can make the toast especially in the sonar statement. If we go directly here, so this is our page, it should be coming up within the UI parameter. So components, common, home, UI. And do you have the sonar? No, it doesn't have the sonar. So I'm gonna just bring back my component statement here. So this is the one which we are looking forward to. We're using that use client parameter. I think we are not needing to providing the use theme, as we're not using the theme. So I need to also import that sonar here. So let's go directly, and PMI should be importing the sonar, and the use theme is not required because we are not passing the theme. We're not using the theme. We're just gonna grabbing that default value here. So it's gonna be passing as the sonar, and from the sonar we can directly grab that statement to go through to make those things done, like all the parameter of that state which gonna happen to be use that for the toaster. Now, as we have the toaster, we need to also pass, because see, the toaster, this is the actual toaster here. So you can also go directly in the sonar value of there. You can directly implement all of this. Right now, I'm going to get the normal. You can change the colors if you're looking forward to. So I need to go directly in my overall layout here, because I need to wrap everything within the toaster. So after, before ending the body, I'm going to just pass that, let's say, toaster, which going to coming from the sonar. And in the toaster, I'm going to provide the position, which going to be, let's say, bottom right. And of course I'm going to provide some of the class name here, which just going to be a simple and slightest class name. The toast option going to be rounded LG, shadow LG, border, and the duration should be 4000 milliseconds. And here instead of that window, I can just simply pass the toast, and the toast need to be imported directly from the sonar. And we're going to make that toast dot let's say I think success is there. Success. Okay, let's say button clicked. Let's see what's actually showing here. So if we click on the button, okay, button clicked. Okay, good. So now we are happen to be passing the button. So as you can see, we are almost completing overall the parameter. Now we're gonna do those parameter also. Later on, we're gonna go and providing entire statement to go to provide the state and others. We're gonna just finishing and wrapping up the design. So that would be a very good handy structure to go and finish the build. Now what you can do is that to bring the home brand right here. As you can see over here, we have that brand we love section after below the product. So we're gonna do the similar thing to grab the pattern right here. And to start with, in over here in the home, we can take a new file, which gonna be, let's say it should be homebrand.tsx or fce. So that would be our home brand functionality. So let's say should be brand, and we need to import it after the below of the product list. We will just get that home brand. Okay, so now we are having that home brand the component. Now what we can do, as you can see right here, we have especially this entire segment still as in the server side. So we can now fetch the data directly here instead of landing it or making it some other purpose. We can directly fetch here and then pass that as a props in that home brand component. Now we can do that. First of all, before starting that, we need to make that entire component as an asynchronous function, because right now we're gonna just get our brands directly here, and that should be is equal to, and we're gonna await for it, and we're going to call that our function, helper function, which will be calling that fetch data. And here it would be, let's say the type should be a brand type. As an array of brand type it will be there. And of course we need to just define our brands as the link over here. Now if we just go through directly with the log, and if we just see in the brands, and if we open our terminal, as you can see we have our brand data. So every brand has an ID, a name, image, created ad, updated ad, there is a version variant, so everything is right there. So now we can show particularly those brand data, especially in that our brands component. So we can just remove that. And over here as a props we can pass the brands, which should be as equal to grabbing as a brands. Now let's go directly in our home brand. So what we need to do is that we will define as the brand could be as a property and others. So first of all, if we go at the top layer, we'll just make that interface as the property of the props so that we can easily grab that, and we can just simply call that one as a props, like the property value right here. We'll fetch everything as the props, so that would be calling as a props, and within the props we're gonna just simply grab the brand's property and the brand value, so that now we would be able to see all the brand property details right here. So the brand is as an array. We can now go and make some type check on that. If we can just simply pass that if there is no brands, right? So if there is no brands dot length, if it's equal to 0, we can just simply return as null. So you can just also make it like undeniable check. You can just go directly upside down, and as you can see there is nothing available right now as we just dispatch on that particular instances. So now that should be available there. So first of all, so this div itself need to be make some meaningful contribution. So margin top should be 5. We're gonna provide a border, and BG should be, let's say, baby shop, and that we're gonna provide I think that should be the white color. It would be good, and padding should be 5, rounded should be empty. So that's here you can see the structure is ready. So now we can align with the other property. And by the way, as you can see over here, we are doing the brand we love, then view all brands. So this particular thing is going to be coming as a section overview. So we can create a separate component over here so that we can easily call those scenario, and that can be done in a pretty decent way. So I'm going to go in my common directory here, and in the common, let's say it's going to be for section view.tsx or fce. So that would be a typically just as simple as it is a very legit formula by which we can go and show all the value, which gonna be happen to be get the title. And of course I'm gonna also pouring the title. Is just a simple component here. So let's just go and bring it right here. So in the text, as you can see, it just happened to be providing the getting the props as a children. So whatever the property you are providing is just gonna be extracting over here. It's gonna pass the children directly there, and it will take the text as to Excel font semi-bold, and then any class name we're providing it will go by. So the same thing here, we're gonna import the title here from the text. And after that also we need to provide that link ref. So whenever you're gonna providing the link ref and others, it's gonna be intellectually go and make something over there. So first of all, we need to provide the props, which we can get everything as a props. So that should be let's say it's gonna passing that props value here, and from the props it's gonna take that title, not like that, should be title href and href title. And of course there should be another icon which is chevron right. So now this is the combination value over here to create a section view. So now as you can see, these 3 fields are mandatory. We need to provide the title, we need to provide the href, we need to provide the href title. So apart from it, as you can see, that's the title brand you love, that's the view all brands, that's the title of that href, and there is the embedded href which is already gonna route back whatever the pages which we are looking forward to. So that's gonna be doing right here. So everything encapsulated within a div property. Then we have the title showcasing the title, we have the link value href title, and as you can see that's providing to the href right there. So now we need to provide the value from here. We're going to call the section view here. So after that, instead of this one, we can directly call that section view. Now in the section view, we're gonna provide the title, which going to be that brand we love. And after that, we will also provide the href, which gonna be taking us to the shop page. And then we're gonna also gonna be happen to be the ref title, which should be view all brands. So particularly that would be the overall structure. And as you can see right here, after initially did that, we have that brand we love. And if we click on that, you see right now it's 404 not found because we didn't create the pages yet. But you know what we are actually looking forward to, we are happen to be get it done. Now below that, as we are having that all the brand section data, we're gonna create another div here, and from there we're gonna just directly map through with entire brand is specified, and we're gonna take everything as a brand. So the brand, and over here we can just return in inline, which gonna be coming to as a link from the next link. And within the link, we're gonna take the image property from the next image, and on that particular image we're gonna provide the source, which should be brand dot image, which gonna be coming as a string value. And for the href, we are going to be not directly passing that, we're gonna provide the path name, which indirectly it's gonna passing to that /shop, and then we're gonna also passing the value here, which gonna be passing as the query. So in the query, it should be, let's say, the brand, and the brand name should be instead of the brand name, it will go according to the ID. So brand.id, it will be go directly passing by there. Alternative tag should be brand image, so brand image. And also we're going to provide the width, which we I'm going to love to have the 250 by 250. So width and height are going to be 250 by 250. So that would be the image ratio. So as you can see, we have the images, but which is not so good to look in that instances. And of course we need to provide a key here. So the key should be brand underscore ID. So that should be our special key over here. Now as you can see, we have the image, right? And after the image also we're gonna have that brand name, so should be brand dot name. So that would be okay, it didn't close it yet. So the brand name, you can see, okay, that looks not nice, but we know that things is done. So whatever we're actually looking forward to, we're now capturing, and we are happen to be grab those things. Now over here, we're going to provide a grid method. The grid columns by default are going to be 2. As on the smaller screen, it should be 3 column. LG screen, it's going to be coming as a 6 column, and the gap should be 5. So as you can see, that is the gap, and that is the concatenation which we have been done. So now you can see we have that contradiction by which it looks very nice. And also you can provide a margin top of 3 just to be a little bit in a gap over here, or you can put it 5 if you are looking forward to. Now we need to make something better on that link parameter itself. So in the link, what you're gonna do, you're gonna make a flex. Flex should be in column, item should be center, justify should be center. So you can see everything gonna coming as a center align. And for the p tag itself, for the class name, text should be small text, font should be medium, and text, you're gonna make the text as in the center. And line clamp 1, so maximum 1 line, and margin top should be not 2 but 1. Okay. So now, as you can see, this is kind of nice, and this is the, I think we are happen to be getting, especially not to do directly like that. We're gonna provide a width of 32 so that it can really take an effect on that particular instances. So right now, if we click on that any of like the parameters, as you can see, the same thing gonna happen getting to the shop, and then according to the brand ID is picturing over there. But right now, as we doesn't have the specified product data like the pages and others, so we are unable to showcase over there. Now this is the brand we love. Then we need to provide that baby travel essentials. Then also we have the comfy cute apparel, and also we have that why choose us and others, and this is just an ad. And then also we need to have our footer to be done in a perfect manner. So let's go directly in our page. Now this should be the baby travel section, right? So this is the combination which we need to create. So let's go back to our not in the common but in the home. It should be it should be baby travel section, travel section.tsx or fce. So I'm going to just go to create a single instances, so should be baby travel. Okay, now let's go back here. I'm going to just remove others, so instead of that it's gonna be coming that baby travel section, and close it. So now this baby travel section also going to be amplified to bring all the products data and others, and by default, and there is a very simple symphony over here. You can also call those products in the server side, but and also you can call the products in the client side. That's up to you, but I want to showcase a loading instances whenever, because right now once maybe the first instances the product is not loaded yet, you see, so those load are gonna compile, and we can show those kind of models whenever our application is in the client side. But you can keep it server side if you're looking forward to, but for me, as I tend to text a lot of other things, so I'm gonna just go on and on whatever I'm preferring on that. So everything gonna be coming as so initial properties which are gonna be fetching on that product's response, so that should be initial value over here. And from there we should be happen to be have a two state value. One should be coming for the product. Once the product gonna come, we're gonna state forward to save that particular instances, and then it also gonna be coming the other way. And of course we need to make that as a use client flag, otherwise it will throw some error over here. Now we need to call those products, right? So what we can do, initial setup on that, we have the loading instances, we have that product instances, so we're gonna directly call an use effect function right here. And so from that function we can just simply call and initialize the value property here. So first thing first, in that property layer, we need to make that let's say load products. So we're gonna just make that call a function call on that load products, which is going to be coming as an asynchronous function. Let's just go and measure on that. So now we will use that try catch property value, and of course whenever we're gonna have an error in the catch property, so let's make that console.error. So in the error we can just simply pass that fail to fetch baby travel products, and then we're gonna simply pass that message structure. Let's say we're gonna just simply throw the error to be seen, like what kind of error we are talking about. Okay, there is already is specified, so no need to duplicate on that. And of course there should be a finally tab, because we're gonna make that our set loading as yes, true, and initially once the thing is done we're gonna also make that as false by so far. So now this is the combination which we are talking about. So first of all, in the try block, whenever we are we're gonna make that set loading as, let's say, true. Okay, so the loading should be a true value here, and then we're gonna happen to be have the response of property value here. Okay, why I need to remove that auto trigger on that. So let's just make true, it should be in the response, and that response should be coming as the response of, let's say it should be a product response, and in that product response it should be coming await, and then we're gonna directly go with our fetch data value here. So fetch data, and over here the similar parameter of that, let's say it should be coming in a product response here, then it's gonna be coming as /products. So we are going to get, now we're not simplifying or getting the things in a pretty decent way. We are just gonna be simplifying over here. Now what we can do, we can just filter products for baby travel category. We can do, now you can adjust the logic if you're looking forward to. For me, I'm not gonna do any other parameter. I'm gonna simply make that one fetch the response. So response dot, which should be products, and then we're gonna make that one as a slice, and I'm gonna just take an 8 products from there. So this is the one which I'm gonna looking forward to. As you can see over here, we have total 8 products, so we are just forecasting to showcase the 8 products. So you can also toggle through, you can make like bottom to other, so feel free to figure out the way you're looking forward to. So I'm gonna just go on that just to be and combine on a particular in this setup. And of course, instead, I think for the slice, instead of that, I think from 0 we can put a minus over there, because I'm gonna just trigger up one property. Okay, I think similar. Anyway, keep it like that. Okay, so now as we are showcasing, so this our product is right there. We're gonna call in that parameter, and of course we're gonna call our load products function. So not the log, should be load products. Done. So we should be able to get our products right here. Now what we can do, we will make a simple loading instances, right? So whenever we are happen to be, of course we need to grab the skeleton from our UI skeleton. So the skeleton of the 8 array of skeleton, as you can see, the loading skeleton is going on because it is loading, and even we are just calling on them because we somehow that parameter is getting on the loading instances. So set loading is true. Okay, I think instead of, we can just simply remove that. Okay, so that would not be coming on that, because at the top it's already true. I think it should not be a good practice, or I think it's the finalize on that. So by default, it's gonna be as true. So once the function gonna run, it's gonna be coming as the instances value. And if we just go in the null check, you can see the loading instances is just providing the value which we're looking forward to. It's just providing a very good standard skeleton for the top value and also from the bottom value. Okay, so right now as we have the skeleton there, so now we need to provide the other property. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take a div here, then another div, then it should be coming with another, then it would be a chart icon. And on the chart icon, it should be providing that class name. I'm gonna provide a width of 5, height of 5, and then also it's gonna be, let's say, text pink of 500, just to showcase. So that is the data layer, as you can see here. Okay, so this is the baby travel. No, we are, I think I'm in a wrong side. So instead of that, it should be coming, that's the second one, that should be coming for the plane. Okay, so yeah, that's the one which I'm talking about. And then also it could be coming a badge. So I'm gonna coming on the badge, and on that particular okay, I think the badge instead of self-closing, it should be similar like that, should be travel ready. Okay, and for the badge, I'm going to provide a variant. The variant should be coming as outline, and of course the class name need to be provided. Text should be, let's say, baby shop sky. So that is the text, and also border should be baby shop sky. So this is the same symphony right here. Now I'm going to provide some of the class name from the top. Padding Y should be, let's say, 12, and also BJ should be baby shop white. That should be pretty good on that. And padding should be 5, and also margin top should be 5, and then rounded should be MD. I'm going to provide a border, so that a very specified manner gonna be on that, so you can see the coolant effect on that. And after that, for the lower level of the div here below on that, I'm gonna just provide a flex. Okay, I think there is a 2 batch over here. Okay, so everything gonna be a flex item center justified between. So right now we need to provide on that particular parameter space y should be, let's say, it's gonna be coming up as a 2 space y. And now this is the batch which we are talking about, should be flex, item should be center, gap should be 2, just to keep everything in side by side. So right now, as you can see, we have the table ready, and then we need to pouring up a lot of data structure right here, so we can do that. So after the below of the div, we're gonna happen to be have an h2 tag, which gonna be baby travel essentials. And this one you can use the title if you're looking forward to, but I'm gonna just keep that as 2 axle. and MD, let's say text should be 3 axle. I think the 3 good would be good. And also font should be bold, and then text should be gray of 900. Okay, so this is the one which we are looking forward to. And after that, we should be having a p tag, and in the p tag it's gonna contain not so much text, just a pretty simple structure, everything you need for safe and comfortable travels with your little one, and we can just reduce that. Okay, so this is the one. I think we have the similar certainty, so we need to happen to be have another button here. So after value on that particular instances, we should be happen to be get a link parameter, and on that link we should be have a button. On that button should be shop all items, and for the link, let's say put an href over here, and that particular href, it should be coming as for that it would be a shop, and then we will provide that as a category. The category is equal to should be the travel. So by default, whenever we're going to render like go through that particular shop page, we can prefetch all the category which gonna be travel would be selected. And for that the trigger through for that button here, of course the variant should be the outline, and should be some specified class name, variant outline, and by default a hidden, and MD flex item center gap 2, and little bit hover color to make looks better. So now this is the combination here. So as we are happen to be grab everything, so now after the link we have the link, we have the div. So this is the contain everything. So this is the contain the topmost part of the top layer. So now this is our time to grab our product. So this is gonna be containing that products section. So in the product section, we're gonna happen to be have a div, and then we're gonna have that products dot length. If the length is bigger than 0, then we're gonna showcase the product, right? And otherwise we're gonna also showcase something. Okay. So if we doesn't have the product, so like placeholder products and travel and card, I think we have something. Okay, travel smart, or I believe we need to provide such a, because we did a lot of category, a lot of criteria, so the placeholder products and others, so that it can make a lot of sense. I'm going to keep it there and then explain to you so that you will understand what actually we're looking forward to have it. And of course, as the code is with you, so you can combine it, you can keep it, or you can remove it. It's up to you. So but for me, I'm gonna keep the ROM so that you can have a bit of understanding over here that how it can go and how it can trigger up on that. So first of all, so this is the combination here. So I'm gonna just remove that placeholder things, and then we should be happen to be we need to make that if we have that products dot length. If we have that length, not I think products is already slices there, right? So products dot map, we can simply okay, we can simply map through it, which gonna take back to our product, and then we can simply call that our product card. Okay, I think I'm missing something. I may be missing something, or I'm gonna just go back again. Okay, so I'm gonna prefetch those things later on, because it's not it's getting very complicated. So let's just make that no products. Okay, so here is the no products, and if we have the products, then we're gonna just simply go with that. If we have the products dot length, then we're gonna have that products dot map, and everything gonna be coming as a product, and from there we can just simply make that our product card. And in the card, let's provide the key should be product dot id, and we're gonna pass the product, and the product should be the product which we are happen to be interlinked there. So now as you can see, we have the product value. We can now deal with that. And of course, we need to provide some kind of grid pattern here so that it can work in a pretty decent way. So now as you can see, we have the product data structure. Now what's gonna be if it's gonna be a null? Okay, so now we can see there is no product pending, right? So instead of that no products data, we're gonna have a different variables and different value property. So first of all, we're gonna have a card. Okay, so in the card we're gonna have we can it should be coming as a conclusion over here, like card, and then the card content should be the placeholder products with a no travel products found. So as you can see, it's gonna happen to be the travel stories, so you can go and shop by. So we're gonna just creating some kind of badges here so that it can really topple on that particular structure, and then it can go and trigger up on that, like the product is not available, but you have that travel stories, car seats, travel bags, baby carrier. So those kind of a particular brand and structure kind of products you can have it. And if you click in the shop now, it will, you see it's gonna take that particular structurable data, and that can only happen if we doesn't have the product, right? If we have the product, we are no need to worry about that, because our product can be highlighted there, right? So this is the product statement. After that, we also need to have that promotional banner. So should be promotional banner. So in the promotional banner, if you can just see here, that travel is smart and explore the collection. So this is what we are looking forward to have, especially in that promo. And of course, that's the same thing, same structure. So you can design better if you're looking forward to. I'm gonna just pouring that up, so as it's gonna be coming like just making that travel smart, discover our curated collection of travel essentials for stress-free adventures. Now whenever you're gonna go directly on there, shop, and the category should be selected as the travel. And so this is the one by so far, and I think there is another one which I think is not mandatory here. So if we just go here and pouring that, so I think this is okay, yeah. So in the smaller screen, it can go here. So as you can see on the smaller screen, it's gonna be shop all travel items. So this is kind of combination here which can really make some rhythm on that. So this is kind of a very normal and very simple and straightforward a combination over here. In the same way, at the same setup of that, we're gonna also happen for that. Okay, let me just go grab it. The similar pattern, the similar setup, we are just focusing to have it for our, let's say, comfy apparel section. So as you can see, comfy and cute apparel, the similar setup, similar products category criteria, and then the similar benchmark of over here, just to go and focus on that particular parameter. So right now, I think, yeah, we need to grab that product card here. So as you can explore at the same code pattern here. So I'm gonna just import it right here. So that should be the comfy apparels. And after that, we are having to be the comfy apparels. The one more thing is pending over here, which is gonna be for the feature services section. So that service is gonna be holding all the features, productivity and others. You can see for what makes us special, why choose us, and high quality and others. So this is kind of structurable data. You can go and predefine the way you are looking forward to. And also, of course, as the similar pattern, the static data right here. So I'm gonna just keep it as it is so that you can also combine it. As you can see, this is pretty much a structurable services data here, which you can have the shell, $sign, track, and also the hard handshake. And then we also gonna be compiling on data that states for the users our talk star. Then we're providing the badges why choose us. Then we're providing the card, and which card we're gonna having that details right here. And then we're gonna have our stats over there. So this is kind of combination. So I'm gonna just go and get the feature section services. So feature section services. Okay. So now we should be also having here. So now this is kind of combine almost our home statement is just to be finished. So there is another portion which is still pending, which are gonna be coming up for our footer. Of course, we need to have the footer, otherwise it's not so nice to be go on passing by. So we need to provide our initial footer value. so that it can be placing everything in a very proficient manner. So I'm gonna just create another components. So here first it's gonna be, let's say, footer.tsx rfce. So that would be our footer. So footer, and we're gonna directly import it in our layout. So after here, instead of that, it's gonna be passing at our footer. Okay, so now as you can see, there is at the corner which we are happen to be grab the footer. Now what we can do, we will make the footer in a better align so that it can go and provide a lot of data structure. Now for the footer, we should be happen to be provide some of the structurable layer like the data structure, which is going to be coming as an static data. And as you can see, we have the information tab, which is combining that about stop services, privacy policy, terms and condition, and testimonials. So you can see the combination right here: information, customer care, other businesses. Then we have our newsletter, and then you see that that's the combination structure. And of course, this is the top value here, and just don't mind for that particular ads and others. So keep it in just in normal fashion. So now we're gonna also render those initial value property here. So this is the one which you can just take your time to write everything from top to bottom. As footer contain two separate parts, one that should be coming from that, as you can see, the footer top data. So this the data going to be combining with that structurable scenario for high quality selection, and also the affordable prices, express shipping, and or free. So this is going to be combining there. So what I'm going to do as in that footer, it should be happen to be get that, let's say, top footer. So top footer.tsx. And this is the top footer value should be align it all together. So what I'm gonna do in the top footer, it would be coming through like instead of, or we can simply remove that entire div statement here, and then okay, should be coming a container. So within the container, we can just simply get to map through that footer top data dot map. Everything gonna be passing as an item, and from that item we can just simply indent return, and here it's gonna be coming as a div, and on the div getting to directly on the image. So whatever the image which you are passing that item dot image, and also let's say the alt tag should be footer one or footer top images. That's it. So that's gonna be combining on that. So I'm gonna just go and structurize on that. So instead of the it should be entire footer structure, and here it should be top footer. Okay, so that should be also footer. So now you can see there is the top structurable data. We can see the images, but we need to make it looks a bit of nice and clean. So first of all, as we map through that specified scenario, we need to provide that key should be item dot, all the title would be a separate. So we're gonna keep that title as the key. Now then we're gonna have a div, and then should be coming an h3 tag, which are gonna be passing that item dot title, and then the p tag, which gonna be notes the description, which gonna be coming as the subtitle. And for the container itself, we need to provide a grid pattern so that it can overall provide a full structurable of data. So similar like that. So now as you can see, we have the full structure, right? So it's gonna be padding y5, grid columns 1, SM grid columns of 2, and LG screen grid column should be 4, and the gap should be a 5 itself. And for the div itself, which gonna holding everything, we're gonna make that one a flex. Item should be center, gap should be, let's say, provide a 5. LG we're gonna provide that, let's say, border R, so the right border over there. And the last one should not be happen to be the border R should be 0. So that's gonna be, as you can see, the last one having no any kind of initial setup. Now for the h3 parameter here, for the class name, text should be, let's say, LG, font should be semi-bold, and also I'm going to make it a capitalize, and a margin bottom should be 1.5. And then for the p tag itself, for the class name, font should be medium, and then text should be baby shop, let's say baby shop black, And for the black, I'm going to provide an 80% opacity. Leading should be a 5. So it's going to be coming a little bit of loose. As you can see, looks kind of cool to be go and structurized on that. Now we need to provide that footer statement, especially for what kind of footer data layer which we are looking forward to. Here we're going to provide an HR line, which going to be a simple structurable line, HR line, which I think, did we have that line? No, not yet. So I'm going to just provide that. It should be coming in the common. So that should be coming as an HR line, which you're gonna be providing a very specified line with full height 1, and the BJ Baby Shop Black, which is the 20% opacity, gonna be coming up over here. And then we're gonna also providing that HR line so that it can provide a gap. And you can see there is at the top there is the gap over here, but you can see it once we are gonna providing the data itself right there. So now, as we have that HR line, then we're gonna provide that all the other parameter, right? So in the footer, you can just simply make that one a class name, let's say, which should be full, and BJ should be Baby Shop White. Okay, so that's the structure which you're looking forward to. And then I think the middle one, which we're gonna be putting on that within the container here. So container. So in the container, what we're gonna do, we're gonna have another div, and then we can use the title if we're looking forward to. And in the title, we can just pass that information. Okay, so you can see that is right there, but we need to make something in a better and absolute very good manner so that it can be really amazing to see. So you're gonna provide a, let's say it's gonna be providing a padding y of 10, by default hidden MD grade columns 2, LG grade columns of 4, and gap 5. So this is the one which we are looking forward to. And as you can see, the information and others, and also whenever it's gonna be coming in the normal screen, so you can see we are just getting everything hidden on that. So you can keep it or you can make it hidden, is up to you. So the typical scenario is that, so we're gonna happen to be of a 4 div. So now there is the first one, right? So first one, then we're gonna have another div, and here we're gonna have that information tab. So information tab dot let's say map, and everything gonna be passing that as an item. So in the item, it should be coming as a link parameter here, and on the link itself, we're gonna happen to be get that item dot title. So this is the entire title structure gonna be. So we're gonna keep the key item dot href, and also the href should be item dot href, so that you can see in the href parameter. So this is the whole structurable scenarios going on. Now for that title here, for the class name, text should be LG, MB should be 4, and the div, it will be just as it is. And for the class name, flex, and then we're gonna make it a flex column, and of course we're gonna provide a gap of 2. Okay, so this is the gap which we are looking forward to have it. Now of course we need to also provide some of the combination style over here, which gonna be for the link itself. The class name should be the text Baby Shop Black, hover text Baby Shop, which is gonna be coming as the sky color, and hover effect gonna on. So as you can see, this is the structure. So now this is the way it can be combining all other parameter and all other structures. So what I'm gonna do after that one statement here, we can just simply grab it all. So this is just gonna be coming as a very simple and very specified manner. As you can see, all 3 setup is the same, just the newsletter gonna be happen to be just providing an input value here, which gonna be combining to get the email, placeholder, enter email, and others. So this is just be pushing that together. Now after that, again, should be another HR line here. So in that HR line also, because below the HR line, we should be happen to be get another that Baby Shop and other parameter. So in that structure, it should be just gonna be passing the footer value here, which is gonna be coming as an image. So let's just grab the image, and which you're gonna be getting the payment image. So that's it. Or we can make that 2025 Baby Shop, or instead of Baby Shop should be Babymart 3, all rights reserved. So now as you can see, this is the structurable data. So with that, as you can see, our entire homepage structure is done. So now we're gonna start building like the other setup or the single page scenario and other predefined structure. So this is pretty cool to go by. As you can see how cool it is to go and see all the structure is working with a responsive manner in a very good performance view. So now we're gonna start building the other pages.